Hey, everybody. This podcast, my good friends Chris Waite and Emily Waite came down and we talked about a little bit of everything. But Emily traveled around with us when we were doing all the shows back in the day. She was one of the shopettes, and we went to all the diesel shows, and Chris and Emily went with us, and we had a bunch of good times. And now they're... it turns out they're both going into law enforcement in the weirdest time ever to become a police officer, but that's where they're headed. And they're also both bodybuilders. And they've won titles in various competitions. And we talk about a little bit of everything. Conspiracy theories, bodybuilding, coronavirus, everything. So enjoy.
I'm the one who says things.
So we're here doing a podcast with Pam, Chris, and Emily.
Hello.
It's exciting. So
I'm happy to be here.
We haven't seen John in a year. We haven't done like really fun things with John in like
ever
3-4 years since we were traveling. So who do you still keep in touch that we used to see all the time?
Pretty much everybody.
Everybody because of the business or
business-wise, I talk to Bean all the time. I talk to him almost daily.
Yeah.
And then Ryan Gelinas.
I love him.
Gelinas.
He's my friend. I miss him.
And I talk to Eric on a regular basis still.
Pretty much it. Those were like the fun people.
Lenny.
Donnie.
I still talk to him occasionally.
Yeah. Donnie. He lives down the road.
Right.
Just all those.
Yeah.
I still talk to Judd every now and again. I don't talk to him near as much. Now that he's not trying to hawk me parts every day.
Right. Drag you around to strip clubs.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Nothing we say here is factual, by the way. So.
I'm trying to think of anybody else. I'm
Jesse.
sure there's... Yeah. I
Jesse's
still talk to him.
balling, dude.
He's actually going to do a podcast here one of these days when we get it lined up.
To see his stuff, I'm like, he's having fun.
He's in a world that I don't understand.
I don't.
Yeah.
It's definitely
that whole
different.
thing with like the watch on the steering wheel of a Lamborghini.
It has to be he's just getting paid to do it.
No, somebody told me there, and maybe he'll explain this if he's listening to this right now and he's going to be like, they got it all wrong. But there's something about he sells those watches or
Right.
something.
Mm-hmm. So he
I'm
gets them
curious
to do
because
That's like his promotional.
a lot of things that we did with him, they were a little different. That were the places he'd take us, and I know he was embarrassed with us.
He's a hipster.
Yeah,
Very.
he'd be like, "I got to bring."
Wait,
these
you guys are
idiot-"
too.
Yeah, it's like I got to
And
bring these idiot rednecks to
He
this
brought
bar
the
I
people
hang out.
in out of the field that just got done feeding the cows.
Oh, exactly. And those are like his regular hangouts.
My favorite
We
thing
ruined them
was
for him.
what was that place we went to? I can't remember the name of it.
Where we tasted all the beer.
Yeah,
It was somebody had his own parking spot, and there was like some stupid car in his parking
Something
spot.
street.
I remember that.
but we all go in there, and it's like
he had his own parking spot?
Yeah, like when he had like one of his exotic cars to bring
Mhm.
there, he always parked in a certain spot. But that night, somebody else was. I just remember this because it was like a Volvo, and he's like, "That stupid Volvo."
Do you remember
It's not
waiting
good
on
enough
the
for that
street in
parking
line?
spot.
Mm-hmm. And then the thing I remember most is we get in line to get beer, and I always look for like whatever the lightest beer is. If I don't know
It wasn't.
any of it, I'm like, just give me some of that stuff. So I get my beer and move to the side. Donnie, I'm pretty sure, was with that trip. And
he was
he's
there.
You got Coors Light, and they're like, no.
I'll stand right
they
there.
just want to spit in his
They were
face.
so upset.
And then he gets something, moves, and then Doug or whoever comes next, you got Miller Lite, and those people just
Yeah, I remember
hated
asking
our
Jesse, I was
guts.
like, what should I get? And he just told me, and I got it.
And Jesse likes beer that looks like coffee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's like dark and thick,
Mhm.
and
yeah, it's like
Kind of
syrupy.
chewy.
Not into that. It was fun though, seeing that kind of stuff. I remember I said something about if it was Section 8 or something. He's like, don't say that in here. And I was like, we're not really that, like, poor or anything. We could be here. It cracked me up. Then he started laughing.
Was like, I will pay the bill.
Yeah.
Was that the trip that we went to the bourbon place? Or was that a different one? I feel like Jesse, when he was living in... this was Lexington, right?
Yeah, it was sweet.
And we went to this place and had dinner. We were on the second floor. And we got some bourbon something.
I remember something.
It was like on tap. And we're like, wow, this is really good. And then we were going to TS, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to the liquor store because where TS is a dry county, so you have to bring all your alcohol in. So the poor liquor store that's just off the exit,
hammered. So
when you get off the exit, you turn right into the county to go to TS, or there's a liquor store right next to a gas station off the interstate, and that place is just getting mauled. Yeah. But we go in there and we saw that bourbon, but it was like in a little bottle, and it was the most disgusting thing I've ever had in my entire life.
Yeah, I just like to stick to what we know.
Coors Light.
Yep.
Keystone Light.
Dos Equis. Yeah.
Oh, them poor guys.
Good times.
It's like we just brought a chunk of, like, no man's land, Redneckville, when we went, and they just all had to deal with it. And I think a lot of them were kind of cool with it. I mean, being in his crew, they're the same. But,
yeah.
I was going to say, once you get to the event, then everybody was...
But it was fun. I miss that.
I do get a kick out of the... when you do go to those dinners, because I've been to a million of them, and... the people who are knuckle-dragging idiots that try and pretend like they're not is more embarrassing than 100%. The knuckle-dragging idiots. Just be knuckle-dragging idiots.
You could pick them out a mile away.
Good stuff.
All right, so here's what I brought you. Now that the surprise isn't even really that good. But it's going to be on topic with the Rona, because I'm sure we're going to talk about that. And I'm giving this to you. So, what everybody fails to tell us is how... nutrition is more important than the mask, which I'm sure you agree with.
Wait, we're supposed to be wearing masks?
We have them on right now. Well, we got the rabbit test. So oh my god.
Sorry.
Pam,
it happens to me every time I start talking a lot.
Plexiglass
I know,
right
I can't help it.
No. So I'm going to give that to you guys. So you practically you're just bulletproof.
Is this male or female?
It's both. You could grow the opposite sex part, but it's fine because then you can have more fun with yourself.
I always wanted one of those for my own, just to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious. It would be a good time.
So this is like all the vitamins in one.
Yeah, because you're not going to get everything you need out of your daily diet. It just doesn't happen. So just
especially ours.
Isn't it weird through all this that they're not talking more about that?
It's zero. They talk zero about it. There's no money in that though. You know what I mean? That's it.
So I've been. For the first time in my life, I've been taking a pretty strong vitamin regimen. And it's like 2 Flintstones chewables.
They're amazing. 3
They're
Diet
not even
Mountain
that
Dews.
good. They just taste chalky.
Chalky.
Well, when
they have
what
gummies
you remember.
So those are probably different.
So that's what I always hate about vitamins is I'd have to take like the pill things. And then when all this was starting and they're talking about how like if you have vitamin D and vitamin C and all that good shit.
Zinc.
Yeah. So I went to Walmart and I'm walking through and I'm like, wait, there's gummies for everything? Like, fuck yeah.
Like a 4-year-old.
Do you know what's so good? The vitamin C gummies that look like little oranges.
Yeah. Those are the best
and you
ones.
You have to take the most of them too. I
look at it's like half a bottle.
You have to take
because they're dosed for like a
time.
child, really.
I try to convince myself that I need like a morning and a night, sometimes an afternoon. Like,
Are you still big Diet Mountain Dew drinker?
Yes, sir.
It's good. Like,
is that good or bad?
I mean, I guess I was just curious.
Yeah, I basically drink Diet Mountain Dew and Keystone.
It's pretty much all you need.
That's
anyways.
my diet. It's really my diet.
No, so it's helpful when it comes to this stuff. This is immune, by the way. So I'll tell everybody who can't see. It pretty much just has everything to help your immune system. So I brought that for John.
So is that something that you sell through your... So why don't you tell us what you do?
Okay, so I do too many things, and I don't do a good enough job at all of them, pretty much. That's how I look at it. That's how I treat it when I think about it. But no, so me and Emily are sponsored by this company, Project AD. So they get us all that stuff. And right now I got an interview tomorrow for Police Academy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to work part-time as a cop, done with the railroad, because that place is just toxic. It's so bad. It's gotten even worse.
Well, my brother-in-law, I don't know if it's for the same railroad. I don't even know which one he works for.
They're all kind of They're
But
just like
it just seems
Nazis.
like everybody's trying to like prick everybody all the time.
That's it. It's nonstop. Like they don't.
He was on day shift for the longest time, and then all of a sudden he's on night shift this summer. And I'm like, well, why would you go on night shift? He's like, I didn't have a choice. Somebody that was above me picked a spot.
There's just like, and there's no reason for half the shit they do like that. That's terrible.
And he's like, but there's this other guy, and I'm pretty sure that I can bump him. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah. It's all seniority based.
Yeah.
So that's the worst part about it, because union is you can be like a giant dirtbag and really bad at your job, and they can't really do anything.
If you've just been there longer,
That's
seniority.
it. Seniority, and the union protects you.
So are you out of the railroad now?
Yeah, I left 2 weeks ago. I was done. And I was so angry on my last day, which I needed to be, so I just remembered to not go back there, that I'm not going back there. Like, it's the last day of the year. The whole gang is cut off. They've abolished the whole gang, furlough it, whatever, you lay it off, whatever you want to call it. It's like 30 guys. And
it's seasonal, though. Like
Yep. So then they'll start up in January down in Jacksonville, which is why half the reason I want to leave is because of travel. But it was like 9 a.m. We busted our ass for 2 weeks to finish the job. We finished a day early. We have to load all the equipment on the train. So you literally drive the equipment up a ramp car onto rail cars, and that's where you tie it down. And then they haul it to the next spot. Well, it's the last job. So we got done at 9 a.m, and they made us sit there till almost noon. That's it. We were done. We got our abolishment notices.
And they just made you stay because
made us sit there. We don't want you to leave too early. Everybody's got 5-6 hour ride home at least. Some guys were all the way down to like Georgia.
just being dicks.
That's just enough to like. And after you bust ass, and we actually ended up doing extra work on that job, and they don't care. It used to be like more family. Now it's nothing. They hate it. They hate everybody. It's like, I don't know what their thought process is. If you've ever followed any type of management, like training, it's the opposite of what the railroad does. It's 100%, so out of there. So I'll do part-time as a cop and then coaching online.
So you can be like a town cop, state cop?
Be local. So I'm actually probably going to try to end up working at the same spot Emily's at. Because, Emily's an actual cop now. She's done. Like, she's through all the training.
The reason they're not chiming in is they got up for some reason. That's some child situation.
We have kids here, so you might hear some weird things.
So who knows? They're solving some issue.
So, yeah, probably a big problem. So
is everything okay?
I'll pretty much going to grow my coaching business.
So how's that going?
It's good.
So you're gonna have to fill me in a little bit because I've missed a couple years and I only see your Facebook posts. So you guys had a gym.
Yep.
And then you sold that?
We closed it.
Okay.
Because for where we're at, it's hard to run a gym when the population isn't there. You know what I mean? Like, we're profitable, but for the time and effort, it's just kind of like, is it really worth it, So we actually ended up, the gym was supposed to be sold to somebody, then he backed out because nobody around here has any money, apparently. They're all talk,
Right.
So then I just put the gym in my garage. And we just been training there. So it's been good.
So so obviously you guys train. So for those that don't know, you guys, what's funny is when we quit going to the shows and doing all that stuff and traveling and we'd see each other all the time. You guys were at the beginning of turning into giant humans. And then you started going to shows and bodybuilding.
Yeah, that's like, so with me, I get distracted a lot with stuff. Like, I get new ideas or new plans and it'll pull away from my old ones. So, like, before we'd met, I'd done 2 or 3 shows, and I was kind of, working my way up. And then when we started hanging out, I kind of put it, I'd train still and stuff, but I just wanted to go enjoy ourselves. So we were doing fun stuff, going with you, and then working, really. So I was still working out, but I just didn't do any shows. And then literally right when we stopped hanging out, when we stopped traveling so much, then we just picked back up on actually competing more. Because Emily's an actual pro. She got her pro card in Miami.
What does that mean? Because you might as well be talking to somebody from another fucking planet.
Yeah, it's like there's like different like levels of a certain federation, right? So the first one's NPC. Now that's like amateurs, right? But it's the biggest amateur federation that there is. There's other like ones on the side. It'd be kind of like truck pulling. Like the biggest thing now is what Lucas Oil Series. Like
Right.
that's like the big dog.
Or like NASCAR. So there's
Exactly.
NASCAR and then there's all those series below
Right.
it.
Then there's little ones below it. Right. So once you can turn pro out of that NPC into the IFBB, they're the same organization. NPC's amateur, IFBB is pro. You have to win certain shows, and then you qualify to be a pro, and then you're a pro. Then you can actually start making money.
Can you make like a living?
You don't make a living off winning. You make a living off sponsors and social media now.
I see.
So it used to be like that. Like back in the day, bodybuilding was like sponsor. Like if you got a sponsorship, it might be as much as you're winning. So you know what I mean? They were almost even. Now it's all social media and stuff.
And sponsors.
Sponsors have even dropped off too, because now they can do ambassadors.
What's that mean?
So it's kind of like, hey, we'll give you if you sell stuff for us, we'll give you some free stuff.
Oh, I see.
So now instead of putting people on salary with a sponsorship, they just get like 100, 200 ambassadors. They give them some free shit. And they get just as much content out there through, branching off little branches of social media as opposed to like 2 or 3 big followings. So they figure out how to save money and give less to the community, really. Which is, what's all, whatever. Everything's like that now.
Well, it's all bottom line and
100%.
how to make the most money. So what you guys have won several things. Again, it's all like watching something in another country for me, because I see you guys winning things, but I don't.
Yeah, so Emily's outdone me now. Like, I got her into the sport, and then now she's hired. She smokes me. So she always gives me shit about it. But she'll be doing her first pro show, like, next year. Because Corona screwed everything up. Corona screwed my coaching business up. So I actually quit the railroad beginning of 2020. But then, what happens? Corona hits, gyms close, and people are like, well, all the shows get canceled. So I'm like, this is a great time to transition into coaching, because I had 30 some clients. So it's right around probably $4,000 a month, which is, it's pretty good. And you keep ramping that up. There's really no limit, especially when you don't have to work full time. You work from home. I mean, how much work you can get done if you have to do it at home on your computer.
Right.
Like, it's awesome. So when I was on the railroad, it's just too much time.
You're trying to open it so quietly.
You don't need a cough button. You need a beer can opening button.
Right.
So it was like, there's just too much time at work. We're doing 14-hour days. I couldn't keep up with my computer work at the hotel, like taking more clients. So actually, I kind of lost some. I had to turn some down. I had to be like, look, I can't. It's too much workload.
So when you coach somebody, what does that mean?
It's all nutrition and cardio normally, and then like if somebody wants a specific workout, I'll send them like workout plans. But typically, it's the nutrition and just cardio, supplementation side of things.
Are they trying to? Is there a certain goal? Are they bodybuilders? Or are they trying to?
It's everybody. There's like general health. I prefer competitors. You know what I mean? I think it's more fun, a little more rewarding. When it comes to getting into like a prep that's 4 months long and making a huge difference in their physique. It's fun.
That's
but
cool.
Either way, it's like lifestyle stuff is cool. Because I mean, when you fix people's like health problems, it's also pretty cool to see. Because I've seen some people come with me like super messed up blood work, and then we'll start working on certain things, and it gets better and better and better. And like, I mean, I've even like stopped people from having diabetes. You know what I mean? Like, it's cool. So
that's amazing. You're an amazing character.
I try. I really try.
I had no idea you're curing diabetes up there.
Curable. Everything. Just message me. No Wilford Brimley problems.
So here's what I want. I would like to. I promised everybody at camp one night in a drunken outburst that I would have a V to the P by Christmas.
Okay.
So yeah,
I know what that is. I do. I could draw it for you.
You have 3 weeks.
Sharpie.
You have 3 weeks.
Contour it.
This is what you have to work with.
Get some makeup. Yes.
My diet consists of beef, Coors Light, Diet Mountain Dew, and some pasta that Pam makes.
It's really not. You could lose weight on that.
And here's what I have to work with in the gym. I have a punching bag and 2
How heavy are the kettlebells?
They're like 15 or 20 pounds.
So like probably 80% of your max, probably.
I don't even know what that means.
I'm picking on you. 80% of what you can lift.
Oh, probably. Yes, wait.
That sound
At
about
least
right?
more than once. I mean, I can hoist them once, no problem. But you start lifting them more than once.
The only way I'll help you is if you dress like the Trunchbull in Matilda with that big lifting belt.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, but I'll do it.
He's like, no.
You should
I
know
don't
this. You're older than
From
me.
Matilda. What's
This is
Matilda?
the movie Matilda.
Is it a kid's
Trunchbull.
movie?
Yeah. You're a child. You watch child movies.
I try not to. I honestly don't. But I get sucked in every once in a while. There was one Piper put on the other day, and I had to see how it ended after she went to bed.
That's
But I
how
can't
they
remember what it
get
was.
Yeah, me either. The heck was it?
I don't know.
It'll pop in your head at some point.
It probably won't. But
So yeah, that's pretty much what we're doing. What are you doing? This is my wife, by the way. We have sex.
I've just been working.
Oh, I hate
I
that
went-
response.
so
No.
you guys,
Isn't
But
it
that's
the
literally
worst?
what I've been doing.
That's what's hard.
I just
How about that? When somebody asks you what you've been up to, and you're like, I have to say that stupid response that everyone's like, oh, I'm working.
busy.
Working, just good, you know.
Isn't it weird how
Living
life
the
just gets
dream.
into it? I was thinking about this the other day. So back when I had all the employees and everything going on, I feel like I was less busy than I am now. I just have 12 million projects going on right now and
Right.
different things I'm doing,
Mhm.
and not a moment of time.
It's because
And
you
I'm like-
create your own. You create your own busyness.
And I'm
You know
just
what I
like,
mean?
Shit, I can't get all this stuff done.
No. It's like me. That's how I feel. My mind goes like I think of myself as like a really dumb like Elon Musk because you know how he's.
That's how I always describe you.
Well, that's what
I'm always
thought.
like, do
Dumb,
you
yeah.
know Elon Musk?
just dumb.
Just imagine him with muscles and dumb.
Because like he talks about that. He's like, my mind doesn't stop. I can't stop thinking about projects. But his projects are, they're actually like up there.
Space.
Yeah, exactly.
He's putting people on Mars.
Stuff.
I'm just trying
Yeah.
to insulate my garage.
Right.
He's got people on the moon. SpaceX.
I like
Whatever
right now.
it's called.
I'm doing a little remodeling project in the garage or in the shop, and I'm always at the start of it. You're like, this is the easiest fucking thing in the world,
Probably like a day. I'll have it done in a day.
and then you start doing it, and you're like, well, this is a lot more work than I thought. Still pretty fucking easy, like carpenter's job. I could do this every day. And then about 2 days into it, and you're like, I'm really fucking bad at this.
Yeah.
Like,
Nothing is going how
they
you
know
want.
so much about how to make shit work out later.
It's the tricks because you'll do something and then 2 steps down the road you realize you fucked up 2 steps
Yeah,
ago.
you're like, fuck.
and then you have to undo it.
But I
Do
bought
it again.
today, I bought the sweetest thing in the world. So I went to the hardware store in Bradford to get some stuff the other day. And I was putting up some paneling in the one office I'm building. And I saw, because I have the DeWalt 20 volt batteries for
Oh, yeah.
all the different things. And they had a nailer, cordless nailer. But it was like 200 and some bucks. I'm like, oh, it's kind of expensive, but... So the next day, I was going to Home Depot. The next day, I go to Home Depot to get said paneling. I go over there, and it's like $399
It's
there.
crazy.
And I was like, that's like $100 more than I was emotionally ready to spend on a nailer. So I bought a $20 hammer and some
Yeah,
nails.
because you get it done at the end of the day.
Dude.
Until you get halfway through the job, and you're like, shit. I
So
should've
Pam
bought
comes
that.
up and helps me yesterday, and we did 4 ceiling panels and 3 wall panels, I think, and I pounded them all in and bending nails and swearing and fucking throwing shit. And then today I go over to my local hardware, and I was going to buy an air nailer. Well, they had one of those DeWalt 20 volt ones underneath, and I'm like, fuck it, I don't care how much it costs, like, I'm buying it. So I asked, and it's 200 and some bucks there. So our local place was less expensive than Home Depot, which is weird.
I always check local. I try to check local first now.
Well, I did. I should have.
Yeah.
But anyways, I put some paneling up today.
A breeze.
Dude, I did like 4 panels in a half hour.
Which
like
would have
dunk,
took you
dunk,
2
dunk,
hours
yeah.
before.
That's what I needed for doing that molding today.
You and the molding. She had like 8 feet of molding to put in. She didn't need a nailer.
No.
That's for sure.
It definitely.
Well,
would
I mean,
make
it would have been
If
nice.
you look at it right now, you're gonna say she needed a nail.
No, you need a saw. You need a lot of things. But it's in and it's staying. That's it.
So where do you guys live now?
So we moved over to Alfred, which isn't that far. It's like 20 minutes from where we were before. We moved there because I wanted Colton.
I thought you guys moved to Buffalo for some
So,
reason.
all right, it's a whole
We
thing.
originally
Yeah,
wanted to move that way.
I see.
We were going to move up there, and I was going to stay at the railroad because I could work local. That's a big issue, is the local yard. They're all an hour and 20 minutes from me. So I didn't want to live down here and stay up there. Then I realized I just need to get out of that place. So plans change like crazy over here. Like we lay something out, and then all of a sudden we just take a right turn. Let's just go this way.
Perfect.
Fuck it all up, you know?
Well, for some reason, I was thinking you were up in Buffalo. That must have been your original plan. So I thought
It was. Because there's more money to be made up there with the fitness thing, too.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of money being made. I mean, my town is like, 800 people. It's like here, you know.
Right. But in Alfred, you have a lot of people, I'm sure.
Alfred, there's more. But now that school's closed, there's really not that many people there either. When all the colleges are out.
Oh.
So you guys don't have Colton's not in school or anything?
He's going 2 days a week, but that's it. Kindergarten. Well, we're doing our own stuff with him, like for sports and stuff. I set up a wrestling room. But that's the reason we moved over there originally, is because they had wrestling. And I think he needs to wrestle. I think everybody should. It's like, you learn a lot of discipline in that sport.
Yeah, a lot of my friends wrestled when I was a kid.
And the thing with wrestling, too, is... not you, though. You're too busy working on trucks and shit and making money. The other thing with that sport is that, like, you have to do it on your own. If you get your ass kicked out there, it's your fault. It's somebody else's.
It's an individual.
So it's kind of can't blame. You got to take it all on. It's a big deal. I learned a lot from it.
So you're a wrestler?
Yeah.
I have to go pee.
You need help or?
No, carry on.
Okay. So that's a big thing with sports. That's the reason we were over there. And plus the school is like, it's supposed to, like, from an academic standpoint, it's supposed to be way better.
Nice.
They're kind of...
Colton's doctor said
Yeah.
that's one of the better schools in this area, and that he needed to go there.
But my dad's neighbors did the same thing. They moved over there for that reason, just because of school. But they're kind of liberal.
But I think we didn't really. I mean, last year when
No, it was great.
COVID was not here, it was awesome.
So he did have some time in that school before.
Yeah, he went last year.
Oh, okay.
Was his first year in pre-K. And then this year with kindergarten and COVID going on, it's you see the liberal side.
Yeah,
of it.
so a lot of schools around us are out 5 days a week, you know,
Yeah,
or they
we
don't
are.
shut down.
Mm-hmm.
They might not shut down if there was like a little, like somebody had contact, they'll just pull that person out.
Mm-hmm.
They won't shut the whole school down.
Same.
Alfred, they just shut it down.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's because, you know, like colleges tend to be a little more left. And I think there's a lot of professors that have pull within the high school. Although, you know, it's all in one.
Right.
It's K through 12 all in one building. Actually,
Right.
pre-K through 12. So it's just a little different. So you can tell. I know the superintendent personally, and she's just trying to make everybody happy, which is impossible to do.
Well, but the bad part is I feel, especially kindergarten, first grade, second grade,
It's crucial.
they need to be in school.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Piper's third grade, but still, like...
They're not mature enough to focus on their own yet, so they need that environment.
Yeah.
And when they don't have it, they're just like...
And the
he's a psychopath.
socialization.
When he goes there, he's like, best kid ever. When he's home, he wants to, you know, ride the dogs and ride his four-wheeler and, you know, with everything. Raise hell.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but...
Everything's on a computer,
I know.
and he can't do that on his own, navigate through it.
Yeah.
So then we have to be there, and we can't always
He's gotten
be
better.
there.
He's gotten better at it. Which, like, kids, I think, like, I've said this a million times, but we underestimate, like, kids' ability to do stuff. I think we, like, kind of put boundaries on them in a, like, a protective manner or something. And then when you see them do some shit, you're like, wow, they could do that. They did that on their own. Because, like, the one day I got his computer out, and he's like, I can do it, Dad. And I'm like, there's no way you can navigate through this menu and get to where you got to go. And finally, he's like, he got mad at me. He's like, I can do it. So I let him have it. And he was like, right through it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I normally am good with that. Like, I let him do his thing until he screws up and help him. But that one, I'm like, I didn't even think there was a chance in hell I could do it.
How old is he?
He just turned 5 in August. So But he did it, and
so like it was a few months ago. Piper comes out. I don't know what I was doing, something here, and she comes over and she said she wants to do stop motion videos of something or another. She watches all these fucking YouTube videos.
They can learn. They learn.
It's
So
crazy.
Yeah.
But
you can
anyways,
point them in the right way.
she's like, I want to do stop motion video. Do you know how to do it? And I'm like, yeah, but it's a lot of fucking around. Like you have to take a lot of pictures and this. We'll do it. Just take all the pictures, and I'll help you put them together later. Like I got a program to do it. So it's not 45 minutes later, maybe. I come back in the house. She's like, check it out. And she's got like a whole stop motion video made.
She like
I'm
already
how the fuck
edited
did you
it
do
and did the
that?
whole movie.
And she's like, I found an app. I watched a YouTube video. I got an app. And now
awesome.
I'm like,
So if you can just show them that they can educate themselves like that and not have to be spoon-fed the information like 90% of everybody in this country, they'll be so far up ahead.
well, it's just like
it's all out there.
the project I was doing up at the shop. I had to lay some blocks. Now, I've laid blocks before, but I don't exactly remember because it's not really my fucking job.
Right, you're not doing it every day.
But you just put YouTube in, you look, you watch somebody lay blocks, and you're like, I can do that. Like, it's super easy.
I've gotten on this kick of like trying to teach myself something every couple months, even if it's something stupid. Then I got on a big kick with like videography and photography, and it's like, I know it's kind of sounds nerdy, but I really got into it. So,
well, you are the less smart Elon Musk.
yeah,
So.
I'm trying to get on his level. So next thing you know, I'm like deep into like what these apertures and lenses and all this, and then now I'm spending like $1,000+ on a camera, you know, to do all this stuff. And then I buy a $2,500 editing computer because you gotta have something to edit videos. You know that
you can't be some ham and egger.
No, because you'll sit there for 3 hours for it to process. You know.
And do you know what makes you feel like a dick though? Is when you get deep into something like that, and some guy that's like, so if you're on level 2 of the video knowledge, there's some dude that's a level 11 that actually like makes movies and has Hollywood movies, and then he's in an interview and he's like, yeah, I shot Avatar on an iPhone.
Right.
And you're like, what? It's like, yeah, just to see if I could. You're like, fuck.
Right,
I got an iPhone. I bought all this shit.
That's so true. You have to like pick and choose the right things, because if you follow like the nerds too much, they'll take you down the rabbit hole of like, you need this gear. When it's a lot of it's just in your head of what to do. As long as you know like the bare minimum you need, you can get a lot done with that.
What I always get a kick out of is how and you guys probably know exactly what I'm talking about, how every niche has its little community of stars. So like obviously in the bodybuilding community, you probably know all the people, and you know Joe and Sally and geez, that guy, and then like in Pam's painting community, so she's gotten to know people across country and my diesel pickups and all the different things. But there's all this little hierarchy of people and who's doing what, and it's so weird.
What's funny is when you get there, you realize how close you are to them, or can be, if
or
you
how
actually
normal those people
or
are,
how normal they are.
Yeah.
So like you put somebody on a pedestal for so long, and you're like, oh, I could never achieve that. That's like, like you want to be Hazley, you want to sell parts like like in the Poland world or something like that, and then there's some guys in their garage and they're competing with them or something. Right. You're like, they're not that. There's nothing special about them. There's no magic.
No.
They just market yourself and put the work in.
That's it kills me that there's these little communities. Like there's beekeepers.
They're all the same.
Like they'll be like, that dude
is the
Jeff
beekeeping celebrity.
Yeah, he's the first one to cross pollinate, and you're like, what? They're like deep.
And I'll get into like that's like. I keep getting into more and more communities and stuff like that every time I try to learn something, and they're all exactly the same. It's fun though. It's fun to watch them because you'll have like the haters of the community. You know what I mean? And it's like they're all fighting with each other, and then there's like a little niche group that has fun with each other. It's all the same. But.
Crazy. So one thing that I struggle with. So when I was watching you guys' competitions and the videos from like Buffalo or wherever. How do you tell who wins?
All right, so
like because I'm watching it and I can clearly see a couple of the people are visually more appealing in how they look than others, and I don't mean by like pretty or handsome. I mean like
physique.
Yeah, you're like, oh wow,
but because there is a natural from anybody's point of view. When you look at somebody, you're naturally going to see something that looks better than somebody else.
Right.
But when it starts to get to the point where 5 of them look the same
and they're
to
all
a normal person,
jacked.
then it's hard. It's hard to pick them out. So it's all depends on the class. All the classes have different criteria, and the judges sit there and they're trained on So pick something apart instead of looking at somebody as a whole. They'll start picking it apart in sections and finding flaws in the physique, and then they score it with like a scorecard, and whoever has less points normally wins.
So what I'm dying to know is what exactly do these judges look like?
Oh, well, most of them. Honestly, it's a good point.
Are you like, really?
It's like 50.
Karen?
It's like 50-50.
Oh.
Yeah.
They have like some judges that are pros that are on stage. They have them, judging. Mm-hmm. But the other half...
Just like regular Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like they've never lifted a day in their life. They just been in the community. That's it.
See.
Well, then it's just like when you watch boxing or UFC fights and you see the judges, and you have Harold, Susan, and Betty, and you're like, is this the fucking PTO board?
Never thrown a punch a day in their life.
How do they even know what?
I know. It's because they're trained. That's it. I guess the training. See, that's where experience is. I think more important because you get a different like if you're a judge that has experience in whatever sport you're judging, you have a whole different like perspective on what's going on, and you understand everything because you've been in that moment yourself. Where if you haven't, like you're just kind of throwing bullshit at the wall a lot of times. I think and making yourself sound better than you really are. Like
I've watched a lot of UFC fights, and I feel like I have a fair amount of knowledge about what things are, but I don't have the slightest clue what it's like to be in there and get blasted in the head or like there's a different level of understanding of something that happens and the guy moves through it that's worth more than, and you wouldn't feel right judging it if you've never done it. That's what I think. You are a judge though. At home I do a lot of judging. Score it. You have your own score. Did you guys watch last night? Did you see the highlights from the dude that got body slammed and got knocked out? No. Was it rough? We put it on last night. We got home and turned it on. We were just watching, and then neighbors came over. It was the only fight we saw. But the dude picks him up, and when he picked the guy up, he's kind of carrying him across the ring. At the last minute, he turned, and he put his forearm right on the side of his neck and just drove him into the ground. And the guy does which is always creepy, like, no matter what. Out just like that. It was right at the beginning. I missed it. Like, the fight was starting. I looked away. I looked back. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Good thing for replays. It's pretty fucking cool. But yeah, we watched the Tyson Jr. fight. What'd you think of that? So we have a buddy that actually does all of Tyson's training, all of his actual physical fitness training. And I actually messaged him afterwards because I thought Mike Tyson was kind of holding back. Like, I think there's more in him because he wasn't really that winded. He didn't look that tired. Roy Jones Jr. looked like he was. Even at the interview afterwards, he still wasn't recovered. Well, there's a picture. There's pictures of it at the end, and Mike Tyson looks like he's like, "Hey, motherfuckers!" Yeah. And Roy Jones just sitting there, his head's kind of down, like he looks like he's like at that interview. He still was like having trouble getting words in because he was still breathing so hard. And Mike Tyson's just kind of sitting back, like
he's like ready to go do a commercial.
Yeah, I think he.
Yeah.
I can't see like he was on Rogan and he said he wasn't going to hold back, but I think he could have inflicted more damage than he did. I don't know, those body shots looked pretty solid, but
we couldn't believe how fast they were.
That was still
like
insane.
Right off the start, we're like, "Oh,
he's got it." Yep. They still have the speed. Like Roy Jones Jr. hands were still flying.
Yeah.
Can you imagine running into them in like 15 years when they're old men? And they just looks like a 70-year-old man, and he just fucking lights you up. I think that they get stronger too. Like they get that weird old man strength when they're training like that for so long. They look like farmers, is what I thought when they came out. They look like they had farmer strength.
That's what bugged me. Like people were talking shit about like their physique. They're mid-50s.
Yeah.
And this is
and they look ferocious.
Been out of the game for so long.
But they're not bodybuilders. They're boxers.
Right.
The only reason they looked good when they were young is just because they were young. They didn't train to look good. They trained to fight.
Right.
They just happened to look good. Now they're older. They still, now they don't look good, but they're still trained. They're still training the same way.
Anybody that looked at those guys and said they, don't look that good is a young man.
Mm-hmm.
That's
like anybody 40 and up was like, fuck.
They're reevaluating their own self.
Yeah.
Like, that is a tight 50-year-old ab right there.
Yeah.
Like, they did.
That little pouch Roy Jones had, you're like, fuck. I'm going to start doing some sit-ups. Get that.
Yeah. No, it was fun to watch, I think no matter what, they're going to have people hating on them.
Oh, yeah.
It's all jealousy.
Yeah. People are weird.
That was, I just saw on the way here, that was the number one pay-per-view of 2020 out of everything, which I figured it would be.
Huh.
Well, yeah, everybody wants to see Tyson fight. Anytime Tyson fights, it's a thing.
And I think Roy Jones Jr. is kind of, I don't want to say he's forgotten, but he's not as big a deal as Mike Tyson.
No.
But when you watch his fights, because I had to go back and watch him, because I wanted to be like educated on the actual fight and see like who was, because I never watched a lot of him, and it was actually, he's fun to watch when he was young.
Well, and then you look at their record, and Roy Jones
he's never actually been beat,
and he
got DQ'd.
Wait,
once.
I don't remember. I remember the name, but I don't remember him being a big deal.
Right, and he's undefeated technically. He got that DQ because he punched the guy when the guy went down on his knee, and he punched him, so he got DQ'd for that fight. But he never actually lost the fight.
All right. Even more impressive than Tyson, though, is motherfucking Jake Paul. Did you watch that?
No.
The YouTuber right before Tyson?
We
the
watched.
undercard?
Yeah.
We weren't paying attention. Oh, okay. You want to know what we were doing? All right. So Bernie, Emily's mom, got one of those crickets for Christmas.
Okay.
Where you can like cut out your own stickers and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We may have been upstairs messing with that.
But this is because we couldn't get it to come up on the TV.
Oh, I got even. Okay.
We were struggling with that too.
No, it was bad, dude.
The size of the TV that we watched the fight on.
Imagine a TV that you have with your 4 security cameras on that you never use, and it's on the sidewall, and you're trying to link to stream it through your phone to your like 60-inch TV, and all of a sudden the security TV, the security footage goes away, and the fight pops up, and it's on like a 22-inch TV, if that,
just a little bitty thing,
in a giant living room. People came over for this too.
You might as well watch it on your phone.
Yep, people came over to watch the fight. It was at her mom's. People came over to watch. They had like ordered pizza and wings and all this shit. It's on a 22-inch TV, and nobody. I couldn't figure it out. And Elon Musk,
right?
I couldn't figure it out. Nobody could figure it out. So we watched it on there.
Well, I was struggling to figure it out too because you had to download some app.
Yeah.
And all this bullshit, but there was a way to watch it on Roku because the garage TV is where we always watch the fights, and it's a Roku TV. And I went out there because a bunch of people came over before the fight.
Mm-hmm.
And
test it?
No, we were just sitting in here having drinks or whatever. And I'm like, I'm going to go make sure I get the fight on.
Right.
I go out there. I can't figure it out. Like,
well, what the hell is Triller anyway?
Yeah,
like,
Triller.
for real?
So Triller, the fight app spelled FITE. That
right.
makes sense.
That was a tough one to figure out too.
Just like I'm like,
they're like, you have to download the fight app. So I keep typing in fight and it's not coming. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and then it's FITE. Mm-hmm. So that's where we end up getting it. But how early did you go out?
It was
test it?
A good half hour. It was because the fight started. The whole fight started like at 8, I think, and it was like 7 when I went up to try and take it out.
Well, Terry and Bernie decided they were going to wait right till 8 to turn it on.
I've learned my lesson.
Yeah.
But so they have Spectrum, which you can get pay-per-view through Spectrum. But they found out you have to have the Spectrum box, not the Spectrum app. Well, they had a Spectrum app. So now I'm hooking the box up, and they got the service turned on. The box is locked out. All the boxes are locked out.
Geez.
It was 2 hours, dude. 2 hours. It was probably, I'd say right at 8 o'clock till probably 9:45 before I got on that little TV.
Really?
My eyes were like bloodshot from like looking at the phone, all this stuff. Everybody else is just like hanging out. Like, I got a lot of pressure on me.
Well,
YouTube it.
I've learned my lesson because we always get the fights and people come over. So I buy the fight roughly at 11 o'clock that morning because I don't want any issues because I've had that same thing happen
so many times. When
you go to try and watch it and something doesn't work, whether it's a bunch of people trying to get the fight and it fucks their system up or whatever it is. So early in the day. But this one I just waited because I thought I would get it on pay-per-view on the cable, and we have Xfinity. So we just use the app in the garage. So I go out in the garage to try and get it, and you can't buy things on the app sometimes.
On the app, same thing.
So I was like, fuck it. I'll come inside. I'll buy it on the box inside. It's not on there anywhere. Like, what the fuck?
It's like only Spectrum.
So I have like a chalkboard outside and my computer open trying to figure it out. So finally I come inside. Everybody's sitting in here. I come in and I'm like, I don't know. I do know I have to take a shit. And I can't figure out.
What were you doing with the chalkboard?
I'm just writing all the names down. and different
That's
ways to spell fight.
So
phonetically,
I went in and I took a dump. I know this is TMI, but
It's
while
part
I
of the
was
story.
dumping, I figured it out. I found something. Somebody posted on
You Googled,
somewhere.
didn't
Yeah. And somewhere they're like, it's FITE. You have to go here, you have to go here, you have to go here. And I'm like, fuck. So I run back outside and lickety split. We had it.
Yeah.
he didn't even wipe. He just jumped off the
Just
toilet.
ran out.
ran
I come by with my
out.
pants down.
We're all like,
doing
what?
a duck walk. I
Right,
figured
you
it
can just
out.
watch it in there by yourself.
Yeah.
If you want to join, you can come in. Just get in that hot tub you got in there, that little jacuzzi tub.
Right.
That's where you should have watched it.
We could have, but we had people over that.
Might feel a little weird about it. We
I
watch a lot of shit in that tub.
I would have got it. with
Comedy
you,
specials.
which is no surprise, but
I would have been alright with that.
yeah.
But anyways, I was going to say Jake Paul. You know who Jake Paul is?
Yeah, so I
The
didn't know
YouTuber?
anything about him until
I
this
didn't
whole
either.
thing, and I
Me either.
saw some stuff online about people talking about him.
Turns out, I've hated him forever.
Did you
Does
not
anybody
know?
need a drink?
Did you not know that you hated him? Like, you didn't know who he was, or
No, I've hated him for
Well, like Piper knew who he was
famous YouTuber.
somehow. Yeah,
Thank you.
like
But-
it was kind of strange.
So he comes out and he's fighting some ex-NBA star who I've never heard of because I don't watch NBA either, but I've
you
never
used to
heard
play,
that name.
right?
NBA?
Yeah,
Just a little
but now
pickup,
that you're out, obviously, whatever.
pickup games here and there, but he fucks this dude up and I'm like, damn, Jake Paul can fight.
Yeah,
like,
I'll have to go back and
throw
watch
some
it, I
hands.
guess.
And then at the end of it, he calls out like Conor McGregor
Oh, yeah.
and a couple other people. And you're like, all right,
I think I did.
Slow it
slow
down.
down, Jake Paul.
I saw some blowback on that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was him, though.
Conor McGregor, fuck him up.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Everybody always goes right to him, but I guess that's what happens. when
Money.
you're on top. Yeah,
That money, you get those fights.
Yeah.
So how much money would it take? I was thinking about this today. Because somebody was talking about Tyson. How much? Because I guess Tyson's going to do like this fucking old man
It's
tour.
like a Legends
Yeah.
thing they
yeah.
want to do.
And
yeah.
like he's going to fight Evander Holyfield next, which I'd like to see.
Yeah.
And then, but there's also that Shannon the Cannon. You seen that? Savage?
No.
Shannon the Cannon's still fighting professionally, and he's One
Old.
second. Hey Google, how old is Shannon the Cannon?
I bet that guy's whole career is dedicated, or it has come about because his parents named them.
Shannon the
Could
Cannon
be.
Yeah.
is 49 years old and still looks like a young man physique.
Of course,
Let me
it's the
see
black guy. Those guys have the
Yeah.
best genetics.
The dude's
Black don't
just
crack.
jacked.
That's what they
And
say.
then
It's true. It's same
It's a true
same
story.
thing. It's same
Our
thing in the
brother-in-law,
bodybuilding world.
Black
There's a
don't
guy
crack.
getting ready for the Olympia right now. He's like, how old is Dexter Jackson? He's almost 50 years old, and it's like he doesn't
He's got
age.
incredible
he looks the
genetics.
same. Yeah.
But nobody will fight Shannon the Cannon. He's having trouble getting fights. And he's 49, Tyson's 55. And they're trying to put that fight together.
That's-
And I feel like that's a bad move
That's
for
probably
Tyson.
Yeah.
not.
Like, that
That's-
guy's going to kill him.
He needs to pick people that I don't want to say like are at his level, but that's not at his level.
He shouldn't-
That guy's holding his youth. Shannon the Cannon.
He shouldn't fight active fighters.
No.
Like, it has to be guys like Evander and those guys. Well, Evander says he still trains all the time.
Yeah, but you know that Roy Jones Jr.'s last fight was like 2 years ago.
All right,
Like
so fuck it.
professional fight.
Let him fight Shannon the Cannon.
That guy looks looks rough though.
Have you ever
thing
seen that
is-
guy fight?
No. I'll have to
That
look
guy
it up.
comes in there swinging cinder blocks. He's a beast.
Thing is, with Mike Tyson, how long did he go without training?
He lost 100 pounds. He
Yeah.
was like 300 and some pounds. And he lost 100 pounds for this fight.
Yeah.
Well, did you hear that story?
Yeah.
Did you hear when he was on Tyson? And he had gotten huge. And he's like, Joe, I don't want to train because as soon as I start
It
training,
clicks.
then I just can't stop. So I guess his wife called him fat. And he goes out and he's like, I'm going to start getting on the bicycle. And I just got out there for like 20 minutes a day, and then it turned into an hour a day.
He's obsessive.
Then it turned into 2 hours a day, and then it turned into 3 hours
Well,
a day,
they
and then
also
I
said
started
he was,
lifting,
like-
and now I'm fighting.
They also said he was getting like suicidal.
Yeah,
'Cause he didn't
he
have
had a drug addiction
anything
too.
going
not just
on.
weed too.
Like no.
Did you ever watch his one-man show? It was on... I think it's on Netflix or something now. But it's just Mike Tyson. He comes out, takes a stool, sits on the stage, grabs a microphone, and just starts talking about his life story. And the first time I saw it, I'm like, this ought to be good. And by the end of it, I'm crying.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God. I love Mike Tyson.
Yeah, I think that I don't think people realize all the shit that dude's been through. Like,
Wow.
even as a kid, like, how he's pretty much forced into the sport. He didn't have a
Mm-hmm.
choice. It wasn't even him. I mean, you think he wanted to box when he was 13 years old? Got,
It's
like,
better than everything else he said that
Yep.
he had available
But-
to him, you know?
That's, yeah. But where he would have ended up, though, if he didn't have that, he probably would have been in jail or dead, I would imagine.
Well, he ended up in jail.
Well, yeah, but that's okay. Because he's Mike Tyson now. His name is like is known in every household.
I feel like Mike Tyson didn't have regular jail experience.
I would imagine not.
Well, do you think people would test him, though?
I think it goes both ways. It's like...
Between, like, I'm scared of Mike Tyson,
Right.
he's ferocious, and let's see how fucking tough he really is.
I think it just depends on what mood people are in. It's like being at a bar, and there's always that guy that picks out the biggest guy to try to fight.
My favorite bar fight-ish story ever is when we were in Missouri at a show me's, and we had turned into a regular search everywhere we went for one of those punching bag machines.
Oh,
He's
God.
told this story
Oh.
a couple times already
I've
on
never
podcasts.
told it publicly.
Yes, you did. You told it on a podcast.
Did I?
Just
I'm
a
telling
couple
again
of
because
them.
Emily's here.
Yeah.
And we go in there, and it was a long day. It was hot, and we just wanted to eat. And the place is fucking packed. And we sit at this big table. There's probably 20 of us, and there's all these dorks punching this bag, and I mean fucking
Let me at it.
dorks. And the machine, if you've never seen it, it's just a punching bag, and you punch it, and it gives you a score from 0 to 999. And these dudes are punching it 500, 600, 554. This goes on forever. We're sitting there. So finally, Emily gets up and just fucking cracks that thing.
Well, wait. Didn't you say at first she's like, "Can I try?" And everybody's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay, go ahead, girl."
And
Yeah.
Emily fucking cracks it. And it's like 765 or 800. It's like 100 more than anybody that's punched it. And all these fucking dudes are just like, I'm going to go sit
Skinner.
down and wait for me. There's nobody standing around.
How many of those... Why I can, like, remember it, but I can't picture the setting. Was I at that one?
There was a
Didn't I
couple
try
of
to
them.
Kick one? I
That
remember-
was a different time, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, because we've encountered this machine several
Yeah.
times.
I know I kicked one.
Because that was Shides, I think that one
I
was
think that one was the second time that...
Because
I don't think you were
the
here
night
the
you
first
kicked
one.
that one.
Because you fell, didn't you fall?
Yeah, when I
Hilarious.
kicked it.
Well, who wouldn't
I
fall trying to
landed
kick
Hit
it?
it hard.
I hit it pretty good. I impressed myself. So I looked and said, "Oh, damn, that was awesome."
Because
Because there was also it was the same thing there. There was like a group of guys
just dorks. Well,
just choding out. Like,
but there.
Hard.
Remember that night when you kicked it, there was this cook guy,
mm,
and he was kind of a taller,
Dude.
skinnier looking
I
guy.
remember that. Now.
But this dude knew like the secret Rubik's Cube move.
So I
he could
I
crack that thing.
what it was. I talked to him about it. You shouldn't hit the bag part where it's padded. You should hit right where the padding attaches to like the post. So if you hit it high with downward force, it actually kicks it up faster. Somehow I was hammered. I remember this conversation, and it stuck with me forever because I feel like I'm going to need that information at some
Well,
point.
Probably.
there's a bunch of tough guys punching this thing trying to get high numbers, and then this guy comes out of the kitchen.
Dude, he
and
wasn't
he's got
big.
like
He was like a little scrawny.
he was taller, but he was just a
yeah,
skinny
real
dude.
skinny.
And he's still wearing his like greasy white apron. And he's like,
He's like,
mind if I try?
Let me-
Whap!
He was like
And we're like, how the fuck?
a punching bag shark.
I'm
Yeah.
surprised
I-
you shared the secret.
He did. I feel like we were close for like just like a 3-minute period with
Aw.
him, and then
Bonding.
gone.
How often do you suppose
to
he
the
does
kitchen.
that?
I bet.
That's the only reason he has that job. He doesn't
Yeah.
even like to fucking cook.
Yeah.
But he figured out the punching bag machine.
You would think he'd do some like sharking on it and make some money.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he does.
Maybe he just thought we were too nice to do that too.
Well,
Because
obviously you guys bonded.
yeah.
He's like, this is like if Elon Musk had muscles. I've met a great guy
I
tonight.
didn't have this thought about myself till like I think right when we sat down and started talking. So this isn't like a big thing for me.
So,
About
do
meeting Elon
you want to
Musk.
go by Elon Waite or Chris Musk?
I like
From
Chris
here,
Musk.
Chris Musk.
Yeah.
That almost sounds like a porno name.
It kind of does. I could definitely sex to that.
It does.
I want you to call me that tonight in bed.
Mr. Musk.
Oh, that's even better. 'Cause then it's like you're younger than me, and it's like
Right.
a little wrong, but
Little
still legal.
submissive,
Yeah.
little-
I like
yeah.
it.
Maybe you should just try it here. I'm kind of on my mind.
Mr. Musk.
Well, this will be a first for the podcast.
Yeah, we're gonna keep these on. Is there a door for the kids?
Yeah, we'll figure out something.
We'll get some Benadryl.
I want some of that too, by the way. So how's for people that don't know, we live in New York and John lives in PA, but we're still close.
How'd you guys go across the border? Like, did you guys?
Oh, we're gonna have to quarantine now.
No, we did a quick test when you got here.
No, when we go back to New York.
Oh, just do a quick test.
No, because you didn't stay for more than 24 hours.
How do you know?
Unless
The
you have
nights
a lot
we're still
more-
here.
Is it 24 hours now?
Yeah.
They
I
keep
thought it was
changing everything.
an
They change
hour
everything.
and 15 minutes or
It's so
something.
frustrating.
No.
I want to talk about it, but at the same time, it's like
Everybody's tired of talking
Man.
about
it's
it.
just
Yeah.
it's kind of over it. Okay, how about this? We'll go something a little similar. How about Facebook not being nearly as toxic as it was a month ago? We noticed like everything's disappeared.
Yeah.
Unless you really go looking for it.
Right.
Now I can get on Facebook and just troll for sale ads on people that are asking too much money for their shit.
Yeah.
As opposed to like just seeing nothing but
Trump
election
and
stuff
Biden,
and
yeah.
people fighting.
Well, that's only because all the fact checkers put on every election thing. Joe Biden won the 2020 election.
Just believe it so that
So
nobody's fighting
where are
anymore.
you guys on all that? Have you been following all the?
I follow everything. Like
What do you
literally.
think? I feel like
Okay, I have a joke with my mom about this because Trump started out with all of his posts as how, they were pretty long. There was good data behind each post. Now he's just posting things like, quote, rigged election. And then, like, with a picture.
Yeah.
Like, he's getting so lazy
What the
with
heck?
it. It's cracking me up, though. So I'm like, he is totally just, like, kind of, I don't know where it's going to go. I mean.
I hope that they come out one day and they're like, ta-da, Trump's still president.
I mean.
But I'm starting to lose a little faith in that. Or actually a lot of faith in
gonna
that.
I think it's too big of a army to fight on the left with the people that are in power. Even if there's always voter fraud.
Well,
There's always voter fraud.
It doesn't even seem like it's just left either. It just seems like there's so much corruption
everywhere.
Everywhere. And then it's like the Georgia mess.
Ugh.
And they keep showing videos of more and more shit. Just like the suitcase thing. Did you see that come out the other night?
Yeah.
They're pulling out suitcases of votes. Like, okay.
How do you
Fucking,
how do you
I'm
track
Give me a T.
I'm making the timeout sign. The fuck are votes in suitcases for?
Yeah.
Can somebody just start by explaining
How did that even...
what? And there's more than one suitcase? There's like dozens of suitcases?
Well, do they have to be transported to some...
In suitcases?
Well, yeah.
I don't know. You had to get ballots, right?
Well, I was supposed to, but that was the night that
Did you
my
bring a
brother
suitcase?
tested
Oh.
positive for COVID.
Oh.
And I had
Who did?
my brother.
Oh.
And guess what? He didn't die, believe it or not.
Did he get sick?
And
No,
his family didn't get it.
Oh. So her mom gave him, because okay, get this. He's an underwater welder, all right? He was out in Chicago working for 5 weeks straight.
I know which one you're talking about.
You
just blew him in.
Yeah, you kind of know him. You kind of sponsor his car.
Not anymore.
Well, yeah, you were.
Now that I know he's riddled with COVID.
So
You can't fund that kind of debauchery.
He came home and he stopped at our house, which was a great idea. Because he kind of had he said he had a runny nose and stuff, and he kind of felt off. And his taste,
he said he felt fine.
He said he felt
side effect he had was no taste or smell.
But he said he gets that sometimes when they dive.
Yeah.
Normally.
Oh, yeah.
Because they dive pretty deep. So they got to have the suits and all that shit and the helmets. They were sharing helmets at work, right? Apparently he was the only one that tested positive. And then he comes home. He stopped at our house. Her and Emily, that's Emily. Emily and Colton got tested. They tested negative. Her mom tested negative, who gave him a kiss when, she saw him. It's it's not that, it doesn't transmit that easy. So, there's just so much crap out there.
Well, and the testing thing is the other one that drives me crazy. The amount of people we know that have tested positive is growing that were never really sick.
Right.
At worst, they might have had a small cold or flu type thing
Or
that
really
prompted
tired.
them to get tested, and they popped positive. But were they? And was it just a cold?
Right.
We all get colds.
They said that could. Yeah, there's a lot of information.
It's so confusing.
All,
It's driving me bonkers.
There's no way to. Really
and then the
follow
mask
it.
people. I I don't have a problem with people if they want to wear masks. I would never make fun of people. Like, you go into the store and they're wearing a mask or not. And if I go in... So, my rule of thumb is I pull into a parking lot of, like, the local places. And I look and go, how many cars in here do I think old people drive? And if there's a lot of them, I'm like...
pull in with your Cadillac.
My bug shield buddy on the front.
Yeah.
But if it looks like there's a lot of old people, I'll just put my fucking mask on. Just to not make them feel weird. But if it's a bunch of contractors that I know are going to be like, hey, faggot, nice mask.
Like, shit about it.
Yeah.
I'm like 50-50 on the mask.
I don't have a problem with it, but...
Yeah, like...
But the people that are on this fucking high horse, righteous quest to bitch about it, like, they're making all these posts on Facebook. I saw one today about, I wear a mask because I know I might be asymptomatic. And it's like, well... You've never done anything else for anybody's health or your own. Right. Like, I know what you look like. There's never been a fucking cupcake that's fucking past your sights that you didn't down.
What I relate these two things together is racing, like, say, like snowmobile drag racing or something like that. And
this is going to be a fucking real Elon Musk
here we go.
Analogy, because I'm struggling to draw the conclusion.
Musk.
And COVID health, right? So, all these guys... They get online, they're like, how can I get more power out of my sled? I want to win this race, blah, blah, blah. You click on their profile picture, they're 300 pounds overweight, and that's why your sled's slow, right? That's why, whatever you're racing, whatever it is. It's a drag car, whatever. If you lose weight, you're going to be faster. But you don't want to do that. It's the same thing to me with COVID. Like, you're worried about your health, that you're going to get COVID and die, but then you go to McDonald's like 3-4 times a week, or a day, and you eat.
We were just talking about this the other day. So, I'm not going to say who it was to blow this person in, but and this is all secondhand knowledge, so it might all be lies. The person that told me might be a liar.
Still a good story, though.
But a person went to McDonald's to get their lunch or whatever, and they pulled around and they were appalled because the person at the drive-thru wasn't wearing their mask right. Oh my God. And they're just bitching up a storm.
A McDonald's
drive-thru. And you're like, wait a minute. You were so afraid of COVID and you're so upset with that person to, they might be infecting you, that you're not willing to fucking forego the mouth pleasure of a greasy fucking McDonald's cheeseburger.
Look,
that's not good for you anyways.
Yeah. Any processed food is terrible.
But I got one yesterday. I was so
look, here's the issue, because I will too. There's a balance. There's a balance in everything, right? You just can't live off that shit. If you have McDonald's or fast food once a week, is it gonna kill you? Is it gonna hinder your immune system?
And I feel like it's better if you only get it once a week. If you eat it every day, you start to take it for granted.
How could somebody eat it every day?
See, that's like when I go to Olean, we don't have a Wendy's.
Mm-hmm. Wendy's is next level.
And I get a Wendy's maybe once a month. And it's like a special treat for me. And I'm like, oh, this is so fucking good.
Yeah. There's certain fast food places that are better than others too.
All right, let's name them.
I think that Wendy's and Chick-fil-A are...
I've only ever had one Chick-fil-A, and I thought it was pretty tasty.
We don't have Chick-fil-A around here.
Neither do we.
You thought what?
I thought it was good.
Okay. Yeah, Did you get Polynesian sauce?
I just got like a chicken sandwich or something.
Anybody listening that doesn't go to Chick-fil-A that's going to go to Chick-fil-A.
Where's the nearest one?
Buffalo.
Okay.
Plan on... They have an app, which I have on my phone. You can order, and it's pretty fast, even if the drive-thru's back to the road, because every single one is. But you get a chicken sandwich, whichever one you like. But you got to get the waffle fries with a Polynesian sauce, and then get some Chick-fil-A sauce. Their sauces are like out of control. It's like
what's a Polynesian sauce? What's that like?
It's from Polynesia, the country.
It's like tangy.
That explains it.
Yep. No, it's like a sweet. It's kind of like how I would taste if I would have a taste. I think. Right,
sweet
Emily?
You're like the Polynesian Elon Musk.
Oh no, it's good. Well, yeah, I think there's better. Like Burger King, McDonald's, I think are at the bottom of the barrel. Because you got to look at.
Have you ever been to a White Castle?
Yeah, okay. Remember the night we were there? I've been to a White Castle.
He's like, okay.
Oh,
White Castle.
Did we feed a homeless man?
Yes.
Yeah, we did. He probably was better off not having the food.
One of the funniest nights was we walked in there. How many cheeseburgers did you order that night? We didn't realize they weren't.
Box. I got a box.
We didn't realize they weren't regular sized cheeseburgers.
You didn't.
No, I think there's
that.
a 12, like a 12-pack.
All their burgers are like the size of this beer can.
Yeah.
And you're like,
squares.
wait, what? I wanted a real cheeseburger.
I remember you getting that, and I knew, and you didn't know.
And I just ordered like one.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, you must be slimming down.
The fuck?
You should have known when it was 33 cents.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
I didn't relate. I'm just like, wow, this is a great deal.
Yeah, so I think that, I mean, I'm kind of going off of not factual information, just my opinion here. But I think that like Burger King and McDonald's are the bottom of the barrel because the meat selection is like what's bad for you in those burgers because all the buns and shit are the same. You know what I mean? But like the meat quality, I feel like that's what varies from fast food places. So I think Wendy's is like a better meat, but they all meat. Yeah, maybe. But they all come.
There was that thing that came out that they were using a certain percentage of horse meat, and when I read that, I was like, more places should do that.
Yeah, because they're really good.
And people are like, we love horses. You shouldn't eat them. And I'm like, fuck you. Have you ever had one? It's fucking amazing.
But the type of farming is just, I don't
know. All that I can concentrate on right now is I'm going to isolate. I'm going to take your microphone. I'm going to isolate. And it's going to be one of my buttons that's going to be like this. Wrong. That's going to be the meat. It's going to be you saying the meat. There's a perfect segment. I'm going to remember the time. I'm going to go find it. The meat.
I love meat. No, but
there's no.
Yeah, I could look if you want to get some good audio clips from this. We can do that. I'll probably talk about some good things.
I don't want to do this anymore. Okay. I have what I need. Okay. What do you think about a Taco Bell?
Colton says, let's go to the Mexican place.
He calls it Mexican place.
That's he's not wrong.
Yeah, that's how diverse we are up here. We do have a Mexican place close to us now.
Do you like a good Mexican restaurant?
I'm huge on Mexican food.
Real Mexican, yeah.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Taco Bell,
ever since I kicked all the Mexicans out of this area,
yeah,
we haven't had a good Mexican restaurant.
Seriously got deported.
Because it was, good 10 years ago? There were in Bradford, they had this Mexican restaurant on Main Street there. Oh my god, it was amazing. And then there's people that you can barely understand.
Then it's good.
You had to point at shit in the menu and they're like, oh, okay. And then...
And they're the nicest people ever.
Oh, they
love their job.
And the food was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And then they all got fucking deported.
Yeah, it sucks.
And they were just nice people doing a job.
And guess what? This happened before Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, I blame Bush.
More people got deported during Obama than Trump. That's fact. Looked it up.
Did you?
Mm-hmm. I don't want to get into that though. I want to get into Taco Bell meat. So it's sketchy. You know what else I've kind of lost faith in is Arby's.
You still love Arby's.
I know, and I had it, I don't know, maybe a month ago, and I was like almost like nauseous. I think the meat quality's gone down.
I think it's the pictures that the memes that people make with the meat.
I don't know.
I also feel like
the meat.
I feel like it's regional too. So I was down, I can't remember where I was, North Carolina or somewhere. And we were talking about fast food, like where we're going to go get food at. And there was a Wendy's. I'm like, fuck, let's get some Baconators. And they're like, dude, Wendy's is disgusting.
Like not good there?
And I'm like, no, it's not. It's fucking amazing. And we went and got it. It was fucking disgusting. So I feel like in different areas, like...
Well, I guess that's what I mean, though. What's the only variance there? The meat.
Do you think they get it from different cows?
Yeah,
and horses?
Farms. Because if that was out west, factory farming is bigger out west.
Do you think that like Wendy's gets beef from real local type places?
Maybe.
Or is it like from one
local?
central place in Kansas where it's just going into boxes that says Pennsylvania,
just
New York, California, Nebraska?
Doesn't Wendy's claim that the meat's never frozen, though?
They do say that, yeah.
So I would think that they would have to be more regional with their meat sourcing. Where anywhere else... You have to.
Hey Google,
if you're getting
where does Wendy's get their beef?
If you have McDonald's, they're freezing their patties. They can all get it from one factory farm.
No, that's not what I wanted.
You got something.
Where does Wendy's
you got Wendy getting some beef.
Google said, "Who is Wendy?"
Wait, no.
And why is she freezing her meat?
Where does Wendy's get their beef?
Where do you guys get your meat from? I know where Pam gets it from. John,
That's all I need. There's your answer.
Other than that, she's vegan.
We currently have a chest freezer full of local.
Are you freaked out by eating like meat that isn't local? Does that bother you? Do you ever think about it?
I don't like getting Walmart meat and stuff like that.
I'll eat any meat. I don't care.
You don't give a fuck about anything. I know that.
Our supermarket has their own butcher, so it comes local.
Yeah.
So we either have that or, like I say, we just got a half a cow.
That's the way to
couple
do it,
months
I think.
ago.
We got a half a cow and for my uncle, and he grew the biggest cow in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Our
like a
half
full
a cow.
cow.
Oh my God,
Our
it's
half
ridiculous.
a cow was 500 pounds.
Yeah.
And we have, I don't know how many pounds of hamburger.
Yeah.
I've been eating hamburgers every day at work for 3 months.
Red
And
meat,
I still have a whole freezer full.
red meat's good. People are scared to eat
But
it.
I get to a point
But
where I'm like, I need some pasta in my life. I need some chicken in my life.
mix it in.
I need something.
Like some goulash or something.
Yeah.
Goulash. Guess what? I researched where that came from. It's not even. Was it like? Oh, I gotta look it up. It's like from France or something.
Goulash?
And it's made
Yep.
with different ingredients than ours.
But the actual origin of the word goulash is not Italian.
It kind of sounds Russian.
But that's what I thought. The last thing I thought was France. I think I'm right on this.
Do you know that Chinese food isn't from China?
Yes.
Have you heard that story?
Yes.
Do you know where Chinese food comes from?
No.
All right, I'm going to drop some knowledge on you motherfuckers.
I'm ready. I'm always scared to
So,
learn.
way back in the day, when there was mining camps out west, there was a lot of Chinese workers that...
Hungry. That's what it was.
it
Goulash
sounds like
and
a
hungry.
Hungarian.
Yeah.
Goulash sounds like a Hungarian word.
Something was from France, so that didn't make sense.
French fries.
Continue with Chinese food, sir.
So anyways, out there in the mining camps out west, there was lots of Chinese people that were working as, I'm assuming, slave-ish type person.
Probably.
But there were Chinese people that owned like a restaurant. And what they would do is basically, because they had to feed so many people, they would use everything. So they were always making these stews and cutting up chicken and all this shit. And they had kind of a buffet thing for all the miners that would come in. And that's how it started. In America, Chinese started in America.
Because of pretty much just to feed a mass amount of people
Right.
at once.
Like when you look at like
so
something
good.
like a General Tso's chicken, you chop a bunch of chicken,
Right.
put some sauce on it.
If it's chicken.
Go ahead. Whatever it is.
Whatever
Meat.
it is. Yeah, meat.
And
You
that's
know
how
that-
it started.
And along with that, fortune cookies are also an American thing.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't, and I'm pretty sure they're all made here in the States too. Like it was based off.
That's
an
a
American
switch.
thing.
We did
Well,
watch
that's-
How It's Made on those.
Yeah,
The United States is where everybody goes to make their fortune.
it's true.
So,
Well, somebody was talking about how if they're made, if they're made in America, why aren't the typings better?
Right.
Well, then you would know that they're made in America. So they have to like
undercover America.
purposely like shitty. They have to make them shittily so that they look like they're from another place.
Like
Have you ever ordered something from China and the instructions are like so screwed
Actually,
up?
so many times.
It's like
Where's
just
my-
sit there and laugh at it.
I'll show you. I'll be right back.
So like the fast food situation, like the McDonald's and the Burger King and all that kind of stuff, that's not my jam.
No,
But like Chinese,
is.
yeah.
I think that they're all terrible,
I'm also not.
but I eat them sometimes.
Yeah, like I don't. For some reason, like if I'm on the run and have to get something, if I end up getting like a cheeseburger or something from McDonald's, I feel shitty.
Yeah.
After
Yeah.
that, but Chinese, it's just like
Makes you happy.
Chinese, yeah, or
Well, it's-
Mexican,
yeah.
not
Mex-
Taco Bell. Like
No.
to go to a restaurant makes me happy for
I
Mexican,
think with
but
Mexican
we can't
food,
do that anymore.
I think that Mexican food is pretty clean, actually. I think
Really?
it's like pretty minimal on the processing of it. You know what I mean? Because all the stuff, I think a lot of the stuff there they prep in the restaurant. Like,
Just think about the
Probably.
salsa you
Food.
get when you first sit down.
right?
Yes.
But
You
that's
know
not,
that's fresh.
Right. That's
Right.
not like some processed tomatoes that went through a
Yeah.
factory. Like they probably just get mashed tomatoes somewhere and they make it all
Probably.
themselves.
Yep.
So like when we go to Mexican, like I think that's like a good, dirty but clean meal because I think the
Yeah.
processed food is pretty minimal there. Like even most places, even their chips are like made in house.
Because they're warm.
Yeah, they gotta be.
They just came out of the oven.
I would think so.
When middle of Corona lockdowns, I see this shirt And I thought it was a way cooler shirt than it really is.
The designing is clunky.
Did you just pull that out of the laundry?
No, it was in my closet thing. So I thought the back of that was kind of cool.
All right, so it says this way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
People can't see.
We're on.
All right, so it says Patriotic America in like this real off-colored white. I'm not a fan of the white. It's like a... Was it white and you like? Did you sweat in it?
I'm colorblind, bro.
No, it's like cream color.
It was supposed to be
it's
like
not
cream.
white.
And it says Patriotic America, 100% organic. Contents may vary in color, which I like.
Which is true.
And it's like a warning label.
And then it says
thing in the
punches
back.
throats.
Warning, water resistant, not fragile. Like a warning label would be on the back of something. What's it say on the ingredients? Freedom. I can't read that far. I'm blind.
It says freedom, heart, dedication, faith, support, determination.
Hard?
Bacon.
Heart.
Oh, I thought it said hard. I was like, that is a shirt for you.
Respect, courage, bravery, God's
Your
willpower,
typical
calculation, all the normal shit.
keywords.
Balls, backbone, strong will to win, bacon again. And then it had a Punisher skull in the front.
Oh, wow.
And then the 3%er thing I'm also wearing. And then Pennsylvania fucking flag thing. And I don't know, I'm probably half shit-faced one night.
You'd have to be drunk to order that.
And I'm like, that's fucking awesome, America. Gave him my fucking $20, ordered it, and then I waited and waited and waited for that fucking shirt to be printed in China and get shipped from China to here.
Is it a Facebook ad?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the worst spot to ever.
And I was never so mad in my entire life when it came. I'm like, you cocksuckers.
Because you don't.
I did that, and I ordered a shirt for Chris with my face all over it.
Oh, nice.
Oh, really?
You know that's coming from China, though.
Yeah.
You know,
And this was the shittiest made shirt
It
you
is.
could think of.
But like with that, you're ordering a patriotic shirt. You would think that
There should be some law against that.
it should be.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like American
I know.
flags made somewhere else. Like,
Well, look,
Yeah.
you can't do that.
China has like the way they can market on social media to Americans now.
Well, the worst
They're
part
so
is
good at it.
the company that sells that is a Pittsburgh company.
But are they like almost drop shipping them from China?
Basically.
Pretty much. Yeah.
So who knows if it's a Chinese company set up in Pittsburgh? But
What's the actual company? How could they put that? Is that logo trademarked?
I don't think so.
Okay, so they could put it on anything then.
Mm.
Which would be what's that 3% logo? I've never seen that before.
I can't tell you what it means unless you have a
Secret handshake.
Is that? So you got that from your cult?
yeah.
That
So you have to have
painted
this
fingernail.
this fingernail. I feel like this is going to be the picture. I'm going to take it right now
Should do that.
for the podcast. There. You have to have that fingernail to be in the club. So what the 3% thing is, I didn't even realize what it was. I have a bunch of these shirts. I just thought they were cool looking, so I'm like, I'll wear that. But it's something like way back when Americans were fighting the British, only 3% of the people actually picked up arms and fought the British. Everybody else is like, I don't care.
Okay. So what would happen?
I like how they talk.
What the coats were cute.
Yeah.
What would happen today? What would the percentage be? You think it'd be less or more? I think it would be less. Because I feel like back then people they had more camaraderie and they were more patriotic.
Well, there's less of them too.
And also less of them.
Well, and also
And a percentage.
The thing you saw the other day of everybody's acting like they're going to be starting a civil war,
I see that shit all the
and
time,
they're like
man.
500 pounds and can't get themselves off their
What
couch.
was the... Oh, shit. What was the term they used?
I can't remember.
Because it was hilarious.
Yeah.
The
It
wording
was
of
the
it.
wording. The wording was
Yeah.
real catchy on. I
Yeah.
saw it.
It was like
I couldn't agree
Because
more,
it's so
too.
true.
gravy seal.
Yeah, gravy seal. Gravy seal.
Yeah.
Okay, gravy seal.
Yeah.
But it's so true. Like, look, everybody's a hard ass
Yeah.
until like it's time to actually.
How many? I was.
Act.
You think about that too. Like, how many people do you know in just bar fights? You're like, hey, where'd Mike go?
Right.
A minute ago, we were going to fucking throw down,
And they roll.
and now we're in the alley ready to throw down,
Yeah.
and you're like, fuck, where's Mike? Oh, I had to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, they just bail. Like everybody talks. Normally, the person that talks the most is the biggest vagina. Nothing wrong with vaginas, but I actually like them.
Kind of fond of
Couldn't
them.
live without
Pretty
them.
tough.
They are.
Yeah.
Okay, vagina,
Right.
wrong word. You know what I mean? They're just talk though. And I think if something... Okay, here's a good example, too. When these, quote, protests were going on and they were actually starting to hit some of the smaller towns, and Olean had one where they were going to... They said...
Bradford had one.
They said that there was going to be buses coming with people from Buffalo and Rochester. So I drove the hour over to Olean, and I sat at the gym that I train at a lot, because I didn't want them to get their windows and shit smashed out. So instead of getting on Facebook and posting about how, oh, they come to our town, we're going to fuck them up, I actually went over there. Me and my buddy Jake, and the gym owner was there. There's probably 4 of us sitting there.
From State Farm?
Yeah, Jake from State Farm.
Okay.
And we sat there until probably midnight almost, and to make sure nobody messed with the gym. And they did. They marched right by there, and then they came back through. But it was decent. And then we walked down to where the big group was, and they were all, they were just acting a fool, but nothing big. Mm-hmm. And then they claimed that they were going to do it again. So the next week, I drove the hour over there again, and I sat there for probably 4 hours making sure nobody... Because the gym is like, in Olean, it's by the mall there across the road. It's all glass. He's got an end piece on that strip. So it's the front and the side and the back. So 3 of the sides of his building are glass. So I was like, that's a great spot to go smash if you want to smash shit. So we went and we sat again. Well, now, as I'm sitting there, I'm scrolling through Facebook, and there's all these dudes sitting at home bitching about the protests and what they would do, and they live 20 minutes from Olean.
Where are you?
And then I saw in some comments, somebody said, well, why don't you go over there? Well, I don't have a babysitter tonight, or such and such. But if it was really, and then some of the guys were, well, if something happens, they were messaging me because I put something on my story. Something happens, let me know. We'll come over.
It's too late then.
Too late.
You're a half hour away, dude.
Right.
It's like it's real convenient to talk, but once it's inconvenient, nobody wants to act.
I'm all about freedom as long as I can get a babysitter.
Exactly.
I'm gonna be the first to fucking throw down, but someone's gonna have to let my dog out.
If I have to put pants on,
let my dog out, right?
Can I play freedom from my house?
So when they were doing the same thing in Bradford, they were gonna have a big whatever in Bradford, and the same thing. The cops, the Bradford cops, I wouldn't say they were worried about it, but they were a little concerned because they heard the same thing, that they're going to bust people in.
You never know.
So I go down there, meet up with one of my buddies down there, and we go walking down Main Street. We were down on the tops end of Main Street, and the protest was supposed to be up towards the square. So we come walking up there, and there's like 30, 40 corn-fed dudes just fucking standing there with their hands in their pockets. And there's like 8 protesters marching around in the square with their fucking signs. Yeah. And then there's like 30 cops in between them. And we're all like, I think I know how this ends. Yeah. Like if this gets out of control.
No worries there.
Yeah, we're fine.
There was a good number in Olean.
Really?
Yeah, it was actually a pretty good turnout. But you know what it was is, and nothing against them, but it was all young white people. Mm-hmm. Who think that they know what the problem is. They don't know.
Thank you for taking a stand and not saying you're against young white people.
No, I'm not, but I think that they're dumber than everybody. Cause
how about through this whole thing, it's always these little entitled white kids.
They're the ones that are actually causing the problems. Because there are a lot. I've talked to a bunch of black people,
But you do?
Yeah, believe it or not. And they're like... A lot of these people are causing issues out of nothing. Mm-hmm. We're, especially around our area, we're happy. There's nothing, I go to the store, nobody gives me shit, or you know what I mean? It's pretty...
If you act like a normal person, people treat you like a normal person.
That's it. That's all it
Regardless,
is. Yeah. And then, it's like the signs you see where the black person is not, it's like walking by a Black Lives Matter rally with a white person with a sign. It's it's completely flipped.
Makes no sense. And it's, how dare you speak out about that?
Right. Mm-hmm. It's like...
You don't care about black people, and you're like, wait
a second.
Just wait a minute.
I am one of those. You know what I mean? It's like, and I'm fine. I'm just going to go to my job.
Well, it's like my sister, she's married to Are they married?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. We went to the wedding.
Jesus Christ.
But she's married to a black fella. And they came down this summer, and we're talking to them. They're like, when all the riots were going on in Erie, we didn't even know the people that are rioting.
Right, they're coming from out of town.
There's no, it's not us.
Right.
Yeah.
And that sucks because all that does is it puts pressure on them, and people start to dislike them for that reason. I got in a bunch of arguments when this all started. I said, you're gonna let's take race out of it and just put different groups. I was like, this group is going to do this and make this other group look bad. Period. When you say that, it makes sense. So this group is going to set this other group up to look bad. That's what has happened in a lot of instances. But once you put race to it, then you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to say that.
Talk about it,
right? But it's pretty logical that they're kind of screwing up more than they're doing. You know?
So what's weird is I feel like there's still racism. I kind of flipped a little bit from where I was at the beginning of this year. I was like,
I flipped a couple
times.
There's
no racism. Like, people aren't racist anymore. But I've realized especially the past 6 to 8 months, only really fucking dumb people are racist.
Yeah. They're uneducated.
It is the dumbest of the fucking dumb that are racist. And there's no logical, reasonable thinking person that is racist.
Yeah, they're just straight uneducated.
Or older people, that older generation that was raised in it.
Yeah,
I'm willing to also say those are the dumb people. Well, they just got older.
Yeah, so like my mom. She's both of those categories, and it's...
Well, so...
My grandma's kind of like, she'll throw some off-the-wall shit sometimes, and I'm like... But it's just little...
Well, it's... Are you gonna say about the other night? What?
Think about it.
I mean, I can. It's not like she listens.
It's like...
All right, so... A little backstory. I think we've told this story before. So Piper has this best friend from school, and she's been talking about this girl for 2 or 3 years. And it's her best friend, and you know how the kids just rattle on about shit. Yeah. But she constantly talks about this girl through the years. And then finally one weekend we're like, why don't you invite her over for a sleepover or whatever? So she shows up, and it's a little black girl. And we're like...
I think that's cool.
We didn't even know.
But that's why it's cool.
Yeah.
She never mentioned... Right. It was just another girl in class. Yep. And we're like, oh, we're doing a good job as parents.
Exactly.
And that was like first grade. And this girl has stayed with us like 50,000 times.
She's a sweetie. She's the best girl in the world. Like, we love her.
I had told my mom... Well, we, post pictures of them together and stuff on Facebook and whatever. And so my mom grew up in that. She was born in 1936, you know what I mean? So it's in West Virginia.
Oh, yeah.
So the other day I was talking to her.
Under a rebel flag.
Maybe she should have. But was talking to her on the phone the other day, and she tries to make conversation, and she said, so, does Piper still have those Negro friends? And I just was like, Mom, I'm like, well, yes, like her best friend, and she's like, oh, well, that's good, I guess. And I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
What? But to try to even, I mean, she's 80.
Yeah, there's no sense.
Like, I can't even, there's no point to, like, address it.
You're
like,
wasting your energy at that point.
I feel like
so it's just like, you just answer
that generation
it and move on.
Is just...
Yeah.
They're set in their way.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
But it's
like,
still
my parents
so,
aren't
like,
remotely... Like, I've never heard
a gross
a
feeling.
crossword.
What's weird with that generation is a lot of times we praise them because of... Think all the shit that generation went through. Just nonstop, right? Like, back to back to back with, like, wars and depressions and, you know what I mean, economic problems.
Guess what, though? Those fuckers aren't doing so good with 2020.
True.
Fucking dropping left and right.
True. But it's like they never... Like
greatest generation, my ass.
They never get called
I'm going to get
out.
shit for that. Somebody's going to pull me aside in town.
True story.
They never get called out, though, for, like, that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because that generation is probably the last generation.
See, what I feel like it slowly gets better. Mm-hmm. So there's Pam's mom, and then there's my parents. And my dad would say something like
a joke, kind of?
No, he'd be like, I don't care. If a guy's Negro, I'll still hire him. And I'm like...
Yeah, you don't even say... Yeah, you just...
Like, your heart's in the right place.
Right.
But you're using the wrong words.
Yeah.
Right. You can't...
But in your dad's...
He's not woke.
In your dad's generation, that wasn't a derogatory term.
Right. No,
to my mom, it is.
Right.
And she still uses it.
Right.
And it's like, what? Come on.
That's true.
And she means it derogatory.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Yeah. And it's kind of like for our generation is the word faggot.
And that's turned bad. recent. That's
we might
real
get canceled for just saying that. Like, we used to say it, like, oh, don't be a faggot.
Right.
We didn't mean, like, don't go suck some guy's dick, because that would be awful. Like,
and even if you did do that, that's still okay, too.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's just like one of those
words.
words.
Was just one of those words.
And now, it's definitely, that's like a serious one now. And you don't know that unless you pay attention to what's going on.
It seems weird that people get upset about words.
It is, man. Like, you know.
Have you guys had to do a lot of explaining about transgender yet?
No.
Oh, thank
it's coming.
God.
Yeah, it's
because it's everywhere.
It's coming.
That's the problem. Is it's too accepted at a young age. These kids don't know what they're doing, man.
Yeah,
just let them do their thing.
Piper's 3rd grade. Like I said, it's like a conversation.
Trying to explain
wait,
what transgender means to like anybody under 10.
I think.
Yeah.
I think
they give you a look like what?
Just let them do their thing.
So did Piper ask you about it?
She asked me about it.
Kind of, but it's so much in her face through everything she watches or stuff they do at school or any of that.
So that's an issue with education. It was like if you look at California now, it's like mandatory education for younger kids to be taught about certain things, which you're forcing an ideology onto them that is maybe only 0.5% of the, not even, let's say 0.1% of the population actually feels. You know what I mean? Say you think you're in the wrong body or whatever. They're mass teaching this now to try to. I don't even know if it's 0.1%. You know what I mean?
Well, but like all the shows and all the stuff, you know. So it's I feel ill prepared to explain this.
Yeah. But the thing that Piper asked me about a couple weeks ago, it was a Sunday morning. We were sitting watching something on TV. Oh, I know what it was. It was the night before. We were hanging out with some friends. And we were talking about drag queens. We were watching a video of a drag queen or something that just popped up and it was funny. So the next morning, we're sitting in the living room and I made Piper toast or whatever, and we're sitting there and she's like, "Hey, Dad, I got a question. Can girls be drag queens?" And which I thought about for a second. It's a really good question.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
I don't know.
You're just a crazy fucking cat lady.
But
that's turned into a whole conversation about transgenders and stuff, and I'm like, why am I talking to my 8-year-old daughter about what a drag queen is and transgender? Like that would be like when we were kids.
Not on your mind.
It was just you would never even be in the menu of things to talk about.
At the same time, when you were kids, that 0.1% probably was uncomfortable to even bring something up they felt like that. So there is good out of it, but it's gone. It's to the point now where you're not even allowed to bring a negative statement in with that community. That's the problem.
Did you hear that Rogan podcast, the chick that wrote the book about it?
Oh, they hammered her, and she was 100% right.
And she basically was saying that statistically it's impossible for an entire 10th grade class for 80% of the girls to be transgender.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, what is going on? Because if this is true, if the society is more accepting, this should be happening at all ages.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
There should be massive amounts of 65-year-old women. And what they're finding out is these girls who are, you have a lot of hormones going on. There's a lot of clique stuff. High school's tough. Yeah. And you find something that you're like, I think I'm transgender. And fucking confetti shoots out, and they have parades, and you're the bravest person. You get hugs from everybody, and they're just reinforcing this. And most of those people, a good portion of those people, find out later, like, it's not exactly what I was.
Well, it's a mix of like being rewarded and getting attention, and the peer pressure of it. So us in high school, we were peer pressured to drink beer.
Really?
But that's like. Okay, now they're like being peer pressured to like, hey, you should be trans because it's cool now. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a whole different thing. Do they even drink beer in high school anymore?
That is you know what? I've never used this before, and I've never thought of anything this way. But I'm gonna say this: that is the most white privilege thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Oh God!
Like when I was a kid, you don't know what it's like. We didn't have trouble with our sexuality, but the older kids wanted to give us beer.
Yeah. Oh, darn. Oh, darn. But that was more of a thing. It's like, now, it's the acceptance level of both of those things is like even at this point. Underage drinking and transgender.
Actually, kids don't do underage drinking anymore.
That's what I don't see. You know what they don't do?
They're just into mutilating their genitals.
And it's... Kids are so screwed up. I wish they would go back to like drinking beer and smashing pumpkins on Halloween.
Right. Well, can you imagine?
It's so much easier.
I think about this all the time. Like Piper's 8, Colton's 5. Can you imagine if they came to you and they're like, Dad, I want to get a face tattoo. You'd be like, shut the fuck up.
Right. You smack the shit out of them. Be like, dumbass.
Of what? A lion.
Okay.
And you're like,
Sweet.
Whatever they're into that minute.
I might actually be like, let's just do the stencil.
right. And that's exactly what I was going to say. Like, hey, okay, let's paint a line on your face.
Right.
Let's not do anything permanent, because I have a feeling in maybe a week, if not a few months, you're going to be fucking over this.
Right.
And I feel it's the same way with anybody that's like, I'm pretty sure I'm a girl.
Right.
And you're like, well, let's cut your dick off.
And guess what? It doesn't grow back.
Yes.
Like, so that's it.
So how about, if you want to dress up like a girl, you want to do girl things, go ahead. But let's wait till you're like 18, 20 before we do any permanent shit.
You can't start hormone therapy on a kid that hasn't even stabilized hormones yet.
Yeah.
It hurts my head.
Which
and
also,
it's a virtue if you do it. That's the thing. The fucking virtue of everything anymore.
Yeah.
If you wear a mask, you're saving everybody. If you get your balls cut off when you're 9, you're so virtuous because you are being you.
You're a hero. That's so dumb. And now the people that do really feel that,
I just feel like people are just clicking off this podcast.
Know, right?
The people
We've taken a hard line. I feel like this was my thing though, because
right.
I asked.
I have to pee again. I'm going to give you guys a chance to bring it back on.
Oh no,
track.
we're gonna keep going down this rabbit hole. I'm gonna wait for you to get back because I have other things to talk to you about.
You guys have to keep talking while I'm
I know that. But I'm talking about this specific thing. So
it's
along with Colton. Yeah. See, he has. Are you gonna eat on the podcast?
That's okay.
You are so. I'm gonna fat shame my wife, everybody. So just ready. Fat.
No, stop.
Make cow noises. Do
It's
it.
okay. No.
She's gonna go outside and puke when we're done.
She's
Oh,
hungry.
boy.
Yeah, you're right. You're not doing that. You're probably gonna.
I don't do that.
You're probably gonna raid their fridge. That's seriously really loud.
It doesn't matter.
Oh my god! You know what?
Oh, that's the best.
AMS.
Because
What
I'm
is it?
always
AM?
like coughing directly into.
What is
the
it?
phone.
AMS.
Oh, where people can't
People
hear.
like-
No, they it's
enjoy
really
the sound.
crisp
Oh, that's right.
audio.
What did we watch?
It's on
the other
YouTube.
night?
It's a big thing on YouTube now.
There was was it on Tosh.0?
I think it's.
Did you ever watch that?
Oh yeah, it's the best.
He had this woman on, and she was like doing the
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
like, ew. Who wants
Yeah.
to listen to that? Would
It's
you?
like- I don't know. I'm infatuated with the quality of the mic more than the sound itself. I'm like, wow, those are really good mics that they
That's
have.
true.
But I don't sit
Be
there and
able to
listen.
He
hear
really
it.
is like that.
I'm kind of a nerd with that type of stuff.
So is John.
Mhm.
Yeah, because we'll do like
I'm into that stuff, like the not AMS, but
right.
technology.
We'll do like a podcast, and he'll be like, "That sounded like fucking shit." I'm not even getting it, and I'm like, "I thought it sounded okay." Like
I'm the same way with this.
Okay.
I'm you, Pam. I'm like, that sounded
Well,
fine.
I'll
Yeah,
bring
like, you
something
can still
up to
hear
her.
us,
I'll bring
but-
something up to her, and she can't even tell the difference in something. Here, I put like 3 hours of work into the one, and the other one was
Exactly
like
him.
10 minutes.
That's exactly.
And I'm like, are you kidding me? I put all this work in.
Right.
But the people out there know it's worth it.
well, keep telling yourself that.
Yeah, I
'cause
have to.
It's yes.
It's like something
Yeah.
I thrive on.
Yeah.
Now what are you doing? Oh, are you gonna do it both ways,
Yeah, because
sideways too? What's your thumbnail size on your thingy majobber? I don't know.
I can't get everybody in.
Mm-hmm.
can you turn around? Oh, you just got the back of her head.
That's the best part.
Get the front of my
You
head.
need her face.
All right,
You need the
everybody,
front of her head.
Just give me a thumbs up and say transgender.
Oh yeah, I am transgender. Look, if
What?
You
if
hide
you
it
are,
so well.
yeah, if you are that, then that's great. I think.
Is it?
Okay, next question. I got a question. So, you know how I would say you're brought up like conservative and liberal are like two specific things, and the definition of those are they're pretty black and white, right? They used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you're still conservative, or do you think you're more liberal now, as the definition changes a little bit?
I don't think I was ever hard one way or the other.
But like when you, without thinking about it, right? Like when you're younger and you hear like, "Oh, conservatives this," you're like, "Oh, I'm a conservative." But then when you start like actually thinking about what being conservative is, it's kind of fucking dumb.
I feel like it's so the 100% conservative or 100% liberal is gross. Yeah. I feel like people are somewhere in the middle.
Right.
So it's like that thing, like, I really want my gay friends to be able to get married.
Right.
And adopt a baby that didn't get aborted and protect their house with guns.
Right. See, now, if you were...
While they smoke marijuana.
So, right. I think that
like,
when people...
Like, you know what I mean?
I think people are uneducated on that to the point where they label themselves as something that they're not even really.
I think they sign up for a team.
Right, that's it.
So if you're on Team Conservative, it's just like something I saw today about Planned Parenthood. They went to Planned Parenthood and got a COVID test. And they're like, see, Planned Parenthood does so much for so many people, and everybody thinks it's just about abortions, and why are you trying to shut them down? And you're like, okay. I kind of know what you're saying,
right.
But I don't feel like super religious people should have their tax money sent to Planned Parenthood for abortions. I'm not saying abortions one way or another.
Right.
I'm just saying you can't force people who are 100% against it to send in their tax money and pay for it.
Yep. That's like, the issue with it.
Like if you're really into freedom, those people, everything should be separate. It shouldn't be a government type thing.
If you believe in it, I think you should be able to maybe. Oh, how about this? Right. So maybe work. If you believe that Planned Parenthood should be a thing, then you donate money to that. Right. But then you can put that as a tax write-off and you pay less taxes into the main system.
Right. Anytime you're forced to give solution. Anytime you're forced to give charity at a point of a gun, which is what taxes are. Yeah. So if you don't pay your taxes, they come and they'll point a gun at you and be like, get in this cage for not paying your taxes. Mm-hmm. And we're going to do whatever we want with the money. That is exactly the wrong.
100%. Yeah, because Planned Parenthood, is just all about taking aborted babies to the black market.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
You've been reading a little bit of that deep state shit, huh?
Oh, yeah. I'm into all of it. Just
so how deep have you gone into the whole QAnon stuff and all that stuff? And where are you with that?
Pretty hard. Like, I think that I think that stuff happens. Would I go out and, like, protest with them?
Do you think Tom Hanks is a pedophile?
Yeah. I do.
What about Ellen?
I don't think she's evil. I don't see evil in her. So maybe she was like a nice...
But Tom Hanks you do.
I feel like he could be...
He's fucking Woody, man.
Two-Face, though.
From Toy Story.
Yeah, he's a good cover-up. Ellen, yeah, I always felt off about her.
See, that was my problem with all the QAnon stuff. And this is what I keep saying to Pam. Pam has to shit, she said.
Just to pee.
Oh.
Girls don't poop.
That's better.
Girls don't poop.
I feel like through all the Q stuff, because you probably saw the Q drops and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Almost never, and I think never, were they like, Ellen's a pedophile.
No.
But somehow, I call them the Q-tards. All the Q-tards are like, oh my god, Q posted it at 6:48. Tom Hanks' street address was 48 when he was a kid. And he was 6. The first, like...
They go too hard.
You're just like, what are you doing? So how exhausting is it to live your life?
That's what drives...
fucking find all these
numbers.
That's
what drives me nuts with these people. They could have something valid, and they devalidate? What's the word? Is that a word? Devalidate?
Let's go with it.
Let's go with that.
I think I know what you mean.
They screw themselves over because they'll start off on a good story or some good information, some factual information, and then they go overboard.
Well, they make connections that are such a leap.
Yeah, that it's just too much, and then they ruin. No, I'm good. And then what they had going for them, where people actually were kind of getting behind them, and then the normal people are like, whoa, let's back up a second. These people are actually nuts. Well, when they were right at first, that happens to a lot. Look, that happened to Alex Jones, I think.
That dude's fucking crazy.
He's crazy as fuck, but when he's right about 80% of the things, that's even more crazy to me. So, I'm not an Alex Jones fan. But that dude's really smart.
You think?
I think he's really smart. I think the way that he can pull up things that he's read on the drop of a dime and the way his brain functions, I think he's super smart.
The problem,
but he gets carried away. So he gets in an echo chamber with all of his homies, and they go too far.
The problem with,
and then they start believing this crazy shit.
So it's the perfect example is that Sidney Powell, the lawyer, is headed into the beginning stages of where Alex Jones was a while ago. So unless you can 100% prove the shit that you're saying, because you come out and you're like, this is going on and it's egregious and we should do something about it, and everybody's like, what the fuck? And then if you never produce the proof that validates it, then people are like,
right. You have to present that,
and that's kind of where he's talking about all this crazy stuff. Where I talked to this covert guy and he told me this, and
I know
aliens, and
there's a lot of stuff that they do pull up, and he's right, and it's about stuff he's read about 60s, 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and he remembers it all, and he's right about a lot of it, but he's just overboard.
Wrong.
Give me one of those boards that says something.
I don't even remember what else on here.
Come on, man.
Can you preload it?
Yeah.
No, I think that he's somebody that we need. We need that. We need somebody like him to balance.
Yeah, but have you ever listened to the callers to a show?
So they're too far.
Did you ever listen to?
They're too far.
What was the one that came on at midnight?
Dude, it's my favorite show ever.
I used to listen to it all the time.
It's all about
the Coast to Coast.
Coast to Coast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about aliens and ghosts, pretty much.
Yes.
Paranormal activity. So I would say
craziest fucks ever.
So when I was in the Navy, I had this little shitty radio because we had no technology back then, no cell phones. Like I'm 100 years old, but we had no cell phone. We had no way to stream anything. It was all what you could get off an antenna. So I had this little battery operated radio.
George Norrie.
It had like 4 D-sized batteries in it, and when I was out on patrol in my boat, that's all I listened to because I was on nights. And Coast to Coast would come on, and it was like
the craziest,
oh man, these people
nuttiest
were like,
stuff.
I was out in the woods at night, and I found this black hole that had no bottom. And I'm like, this is awesome. Like, I don't believe
I
you.
want to find it.
I don't believe you at all. But then you'd get that one caller that was like,
credible.
This happened. Yep. This is real.
Yep.
And that's what kept me tuned in.
And the best thing about George Norrie, he never called out the shit.
No.
Like, if they were batshit crazy, he treated everybody the same. Like, wow.
Well, he knew what he had was gold.
Yeah.
So he's not going to
Because I had a little, like, Walkman radio with headphones, so I'd go to bed at night, and I'd put that on and listen to that. Just pick something. Bigfoot.
Is he still
aliens. George Norrie? Yeah. I don't know. I think that show's still on. Somebody else is doing it.
I haven't.
Is Coast to Coast still on?
I haven't heard it in a while, but I've had no reason. Now that we have everything, we have all this technology to stream, there's really no listen. Wasn't it AM? Or was it was AM, right?
Well, it was syndicated, so.
Yeah. That shit was awesome, though.
You said you're 100. How old are you?
I'm actually a vampire.
We're older than you.
I'm a vampire. If you look, you'll see.
You'd rather be a vampire.
Oh, it's still on. George Norrie still hosts it.
Holy.
Yeah. I'm obsessed with vampires.
Really?
I think they're cool. I watch Twilight.
Yeah.
I watch Twilight. I like Lamp.
I'll watch a fucking I'll watch a Twilight marathon. And I think that Edward is way less douchey than Jacob. Let's just point that out. Jacob's kind of a douche.
Kind of.
Are you trying to deep throat me?
I can't hear you.
It's
You can't kind of.
Now I can.
Now, yeah.
Is it better?
Yeah.
So
it's like you're talking to the top of the mic and it's not working.
Want me to turn it?
No, it's fine.
Now you're good. That's fine.
Good.
Well,
so at the end,
I like how he just
also,
grips that.
She's like,
what I do at the end of this
kind of girthy.
is all these are on separate channels. So if one gets quiet,
right,
I separate them all out and I'll fix them.
You're so good
in post.
I know, it's amazing.
He's amazing.
Do a lot of things. I don't really talk about it much, but I'm gonna for the next 10 minutes.
Anywho, vampires are cool. All vampire
Do you think
movies.
vampires are real? Pam's a vampire person.
I think that aliens are real before vampires are real.
Yeah,
all right.
I don't think vampires are real, but
have you guys seen the show The 100?
Oh,
It's hard, man. I watched it,
dude.
I'm on season.
That is an
I'm on
understatement.
season 4, and man, I'm struggling.
Oh.
But at the same time, I can't turn it off.
I know, that was where I was. And it keeps going like that all the way to season 7.
All it is a bunch of dumb decisions where you could just see the right decision. You're like, oh, that'd be so easy. Yeah. Let's fuck it all up and make it really hard.
Let's not blow up the only one place that we can live. Right. And kill all the people left.
How about this? I was actually going to make a Facebook post about this the one day. This is what the dialogue of the 100 is. I'm going with you. No, you're not. You have to stay here. No, I'm going. No, you have to stay here and save them. No, we have to go get him. We have to go now.
Our friends.
That's it. Our friends. We're going to kill 50 people to save that one person.
Right.
But that's it. It's like, I'm going with you. No, you're not.
That one person's an asshole.
Right. He's a super douche. He needed to die a long time ago. No, you can't do that. Yes, I can.
And then I start to wonder about that show. Is that how it would really go?
I hope not. I actually put myself in a situation when I was watching it. I was like, I would rule this shit. Like, I would fucking smoke this mission. You know what I mean? Like, I'd have an empire and like
the thing about that show is it's all women in control.
Well, and that's cool. I kind of like how they did that because every time
that's so 2020 AU.
It is. Look, we can get back to the.
I really like a woman in control.
That's my favorite part.
We can get back to
like this Kamala Harris thing that's coming.
That's too far.
Ew, she's
yeah.
Anyway,
see, that's why I asked you earlier about liberal versus conservative. What you sorry, I was playing with the dog. What you call yourself? Because I realized I'm actually pretty liberal.
I think everybody is.
Yeah, and I think that's okay. They get titled by
what
people
makes
around
you,
us.
What makes you a liberal or a conservative?
I think that.
So seriously, how would you decide whether somebody's a liberal or conservative?
I think it's on like 6 bullet points, right? It's on like whether gays should be able to marry. That's a big one. Obviously, they should, and do whatever the fuck they want. Drugs, I think drugs should be legal, as long as let's not even say drugs. Let's say crimeless acts or what's the word? Victimless crimes, right? It's
like elevator farts.
Right, you shouldn't get arrested for that. So I think that's
nobody's in the elevator with you.
So victimless crimes, gays being able to marry, guns. What did I say? 6? That's 3.
That's 3. Yeah.
Drugs.
You already said that.
You already said drugs.
Wait, a majority
That's
of people are not
victimless
going
crime.
to agree that having guns is a victimless crime.
No, I'm bullet pointing for whether you're liberal or.
Oh.
So if you're against.
So when you think of a liberal, Pam, what do you think of as a liberal?
From what's painted right now, they're like bad people.
Who is?
Liberals.
Unless you're conservative.
Right. And then conservatives.
I mean, unless you're a liberal, then conservatives are bad.
They're all evil, right? But there has to be a mix between both. So liberal is, I think more people are actually liberal than they think they are. That's what I think. What are you peeling? What is that?
It's a stress ball.
I saw you squishing something.
Yeah,
what are you squishing? Yes.
Like, because if you were to ask 10 conservative people, do you think that gays should be able to marry? I think that 8 of them would say yes.
And the other 2 are gay.
God.
So they're trying to be undercover.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, they're gays. Right there,
about it's always the preacher that's out there screaming about
hate. Yeah, screaming hate.
Gays getting married. Did you see the one?
2 months later, they find gay porn on his computer.
That some gay or some preacher somewhere got busted. He was in a gay orgy thing somewhere, and he jumped out a window because the cops came. I don't know the whole story, but I was reading. I'm like, yep.
And then the next day, he went and preached about how
that's what always
hurricanes happen because of gays.
It's always there on Sunday.
Don't they?
They're like,
apparently,
these people are the devil's fucking children, the gays, and then later they're like, oh,
right,
like
it's so fucked. But yeah, I think people are way more liberal than they think that they are. They call themselves conservatives.
How much coke do you suppose Joel Osteen does?
Dude. He probably goes through 1% of his donation.
Every time I see Joel Osteen, all I can think of is Scarface. Like, I feel like he lives a Scarface sort of life where he just has a mound of coke in a big fucking palace office.
Who's the other one that's nuts? That's actually pretty prominent.
Preacher?
Yeah. He sells all the fake shit. Oh, I think he sold silver serum that was going to cure you of COVID.
Yeah.
You can't say that. I think he got sued for it.
Yeah. The FDA came and they're like, you can't.
There was a cease and desist for that. But
You
he
can't
got
do that
sued
anymore.
in the past for saying he could.
Was it Billy Graham?
I think, yeah, that sounds right.
It was one of those preachers.
Yeah,
those
I
super
think
preachers.
that was him. It's fucking great. Those guys are nuts. That's conservative.
And it's like, when you watch, who's the tall, goony motherfucker that gives the motivational speeches? I'm not your guru guy.
Yeah.
Tony Robbins.
Yeah, Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
Tony Robbins is like one rosary fucking session when he was 5 away from being a super church fucking preacher. Like somehow he got no religion. He's got all the God stuff going on, but he didn't get in that channel. Like that dude could have mega churches because he does the Joel Osteen stuff where he's like giving motivational.
But he does it without religion attached to it, pretty much, kind of.
He does a lot of God stuff.
Does he?
Yeah.
See, I've never really listened to him.
Yeah,
I think
we're friends.
I think he's just out of my generation.
Well, he's my age.
I think so.
36.
I go to the younger generation that listen to Tony Robbins. That's who I listen to. You know what I mean?
So who are the thought leaders of your generation right now?
Probably Andy
Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yeah, he's a little douchey though. He's kind of a little dweeb, but I think he's smart. Andy Frisella,
Elon Musk.
Yeah, I like him. I like them guys. You ever listen to Andy Frisella? I think I
I
sent
have
you.
no idea who that is.
I sent you a link to one of his
I
podcasts.
blocked you.
See how you are?
Blocked you on a lot of social media.
You'd like him. He's really good.
Okay.
He's all about America and guns and freedom, but he's also about gay rights.
See, I feel like I'd
equal
push him
opportunity.
into my. You're gonna have to tell him
Go hit the kids, please.
that. Like they're up here, they're having
Smack
fun.
the
They're
children.
obviously having fun. But
Give me that
Put 'em in
Benadryl.
the
And then everybody listening to the podcast isn't going to hear this because I'm going to edit it all out. Like, bring that background out. But I put him in the same place I put Sean Hannity. I'm
Who?
like, okay. Like the guy you're talking about that's super guns?
No, it's not like that. Sean Hannity's an idiot.
I can't fucking do
He's a
it.
fucking idiot. This guy is 100. So he came up on a business background. And
What's his
then
name?
Andy Frisella.
Andy Frisella. I
Listen
just
to
said that
him,
in
dude.
my phone for people that aren't sitting here.
Just listen. You'll be like, holy shit, you're right. He's really good.
All right, I'll give it a shot.
He's not a nut job. He grew up he started out with just a normal.
Yeah, he looks like a normal human.
Yeah.
Totally
A
normal.
little aggressive.
He has books.
He's got kids' books, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, these kids' books are awesome. They're about. So he's big on business and pretty much. I think you'd relate to him a lot because you're an entrepreneur. He's
See-
all about entrepreneur. It's not motivational though. It's not. It's a different. He's got a different niche. The way
I feel like
He's very intense when he talks.
I feel like
He looks
So-
like he would be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
how old are you?
33.
33.
I was going to say, you didn't answer that when I asked
So
you.
I feel like you're on a different part of your entrepreneurial
Mm-hmm.
I said that right?
Mhm.
Journey than I am. So when I was your age and a little younger, I read every book known to man about everything. I mean everything. And then 1,000 books in, I'm like, pretty sure I heard this before.
So
And it's just like the same shit over and over again. And my problem with all these things is I feel like it's good for motivation. So if somebody's kind of on the fence about starting a business or they're struggling and it gives you some
You're
motivation to
about to
push
say
forward through it
what I want.
and
It has
go
its
through.
place.
But I also feel like there's a lot of these people who have made money off selling books more than they made money doing business.
right.
So there's a guy that, he was a toaster fucking inventor or something and had a toaster business. And he made $300 selling toasters, but he made $2 million selling books about how he got rich selling toasters.
All right.
And the one last part of that is he has a formula that worked for him. So he had certain advantages that are unique to him because
Right.
of where he grew up. He maybe is taller and maybe he speaks better, and maybe his wife knew somebody in an advertising agency that gave him a push that he didn't realize. So his secret sauce that he's selling in his books
Doesn't work.
Seems like, it's not like baking bread where if you put in these ingredients and cook it for this long, you get this loaf of bread. There's a secret ingredient and special sauce in there that's unique to him.
Right.
That maybe you can take 75% of this and get a half-baked loaf of bread, but probably not.
What you just explained is everything he preaches. He hates every other motivational speaker that there is. He says
I'm going to cross my arms, get a picture like this.
He says they're all...
Start writing some fucking books.
He says they're all full of shit. No, he writes kids' books. He doesn't write books about business. He writes kids...
That's brilliant, because kids don't know shit about shit.
To be successful. He bases the books on 2 dogs, and the one dog's kind of lazy, and the other dog has like some views and wants to do things. And they kind of end up working together, and they become successful. They're really good for... He stole Rich Dad, Poor Dad book.
I
don't know. You have to read it. I don't even know that one.
It's exactly what you described, but there are people.
Well, I'll look into it. But, so...
He doesn't want to listen to him, okay?
You need to, because...
All right, I'll check it out.
He says the same shit you just said. He literally says it. He doesn't make any money on his podcast either. He won't...
Well, that's where he's fucking up.
He won't monetize it.
I'm bringing in some... bringing in some commas, as I call them. Fat stacks, as I like to say.
I don't fanboy very much stuff, and him I will.
All right, I'll check it out.
Because he's genuine.
All right.
I believe it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if one of these people speaks to somebody and motivates them to do something else, I don't think it's a bad thing.
The shit that he says, though, he's like... His basis of business is pretty much, if you don't quit, you'll make it.
Oh my god.
You broke
John's microphone just fell off the
You're
table.
So strong. But that's like his just.
You've been lifting those kettlebells, haven't you?
He's like, there's no secret. He says, you just have to put the work in. That's really it. And then he gives some techniques and things, but it's really mainly... So he got off the business stuff, and now it's called Real AF. So it's pretty much about how society's become weak, and we need to kind of buck up a little bit. It's pretty fun. He'll get you fired up because you'll agree with everything he says.
Now he's gonna have another
I put money
rabbit
on it.
hole.
You wanna bet some money on it? That's how much I'm willing to tell you'll like it.
Wait till he gets his microphone back.
I like
here.
to talk because you can't
After
respond yet.
Yeah, I know.
You can tell he's got something to say.
Just keep talking. Emily, how do you like that stress ball?
I love it. You can tell I'm enjoying it.
I have this whole basket of toys that I get out every time. I have like this little top that I spin around, and
it's amazing how tiny you can squish it.
I know.
Okay.
It's the best. I need big ones
pee.
though.
Yeah.
So
sometimes he gets
rebuttal.
me going like I really.
I don't have a rebuttal.
Okay.
Maybe you're right.
He said he'll check them out.
I'll check him out.
He's gonna.
And then I'm just going to do an hour-long podcast of me raging.
Please do it. He'll get you fired up. He probably can come up with some good stuff.
Maybe he'll be a
Sweet.
podcast guest.
If you
line him up.
Okay, so we took a quick pause while Chris went and peed.
Yeah.
He pooped.
I didn't.
I mean, you can. You're welcome.
I can. I know how.
And you know what's
good.
weird? When you listen to this back, whatever just happened right there will feel perfectly normal.
Right.
That's what I've noticed weird about podcasts.
With pauses?
Yeah, when you hit a stop and then you just start talking about something else. I start noticing in other podcasts that they clearly hit a stop and then they just start talking about something else, and you're like,
Well, I think like when you're listening and you're trying to think of them on the other end, if that happens, like life just stopped. Like there was no, like as things are going on behind the microphone right here, but people don't think about that.
No.
We could have just paused for 2 hours. Nobody would have an idea.
Do you want to?
No.
we could be in the Matrix, bro.
I want to get into that because I think that could happen one day. Artificial intelligence with the new Neuralink. Mm-hmm. That's kind of scary the way they talk about it, because when you really think about it, you could upload the data in your brain to a computer.
I feel like we're talking about the 100 again.
Did that happen on there? Because I'm only on season 4.
Yep.
What season are you on?
I finished it, bro. 7.
He's got time. Time.
Yeah, it all comes back around. I actually want to watch the 100 again. Now that I've watched the whole thing, to just see from the beginning and be like, oh.
Like it makes more sense?
Yeah.
Interesting. Now I'm going to have to keep
So
watching
they had a, I can't remember what they call it, mind drive. And it goes in the back of your head. So it looks like a fucking SD card.
They're making that.
Right. So I feel like it's sooner or later coming to the point where you have a mind drive. You can download your mind. But the shitty part was they did a cult thing. And they convinced people that they were ascending when you got to be like 18. And then they would take over these young bodies, these old people over and over again. That's one season. But they would basically, so you'd be like, I'm so honored to be chosen by whatever. Right. And then they would be like, erase you. Erase it.
Put a new body. Yes. So if that ever, okay, so could we, this is wacky. We're going to get wacky. If that got to the point where you could upload brain information into a computer and reload it back onto an individual, would we farm human bodies to live?
Yes.
I think that we would get to the point where the government would have an agency.
John's like, definitively, yes.
Look how selfish we are, though.
It'd be a business.
It would be a business they make money on.
It'd be like, what's the movie, or the Netflix movie, I watched some of it. You didn't watch it, the series. There's like 3D Carbon or something.
Oh, I've seen the thumbnail for it.
So basically the idea was same deal. You have a thumb drive that goes in the back of your head and you can buy sleeves. So you would go in, if you're wealthy, you bought a really nice one, muscular, big dick. If you're a chick, super hot, nice boobs,
tight vagina,
like the whole thing.
I totally bought
beautiful.
That one.
If you're poor, you just get like
you're like the fat McDonald's drive-through guy.
And they actually had like a government agency for like people that died that didn't have money, that were orphans or whatever, and they would just give you basic ass sleeves. But it wasn't just how they looked. Like some of them were like military grade. They could fucking be super athletic and had ninja skills. And
so you could farm. They could try to farm that.
They basically build it off 3D printers.
Okay, so
that's what would basically happen if you didn't need a body. Like if you didn't have to come out of a vagina to be alive. Fuck it, 3D print that shit.
Right.
Throw some metal bones in there.
Upload your brain into it.
Give me a giant dick and fucking great abs. Like, let's do this.
And then that becomes the normal, and all of those qualities that used to be cool, it would kind of lose its vigor. You know what I mean? If everybody had that.
Not for me. I'd be so fucking happy. like I'd come into the sleeve store every once in a while, and they're like, "Oh, you fucked up another one." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fat again."
You just do whatever you want.
Pull my thumb drive out, throw it into a Jason, or what's the Beckham dude?
Yeah.
Or a Jason Statham.
David
That's where I was headed to. So I'd come in, fat David Beckham, and come out a fucking Jason Statham.
Nice.
Like fucking smooth ass.
What's that? Who's squealing? Is that you, Colton?
They're doing some shit.
He's like, no.
Chill out, bro.
You think that's coming, though? But then everybody lives forever. And then I feel like there's another show, it's called Upload, that's on Netflix.
So if that happened...
Which seems like a better way to go.
If that happened and you could upload, at what point do you have to stop reproducing?
When you run out of money.
Well, no, I'm saying like for the Earth to even support a population like that. Because if you could just keep living and keep reproducing, we might have to do what China does, and you have to like limit like reproductive how many kids you have.
The show Upload was when you die, your consciousness gets uploaded to basically a simulation,
like into a cloud.
Yeah, and as long as you have enough money, you could stay there, kind of like nursing homes are now. Right. But it's like your mind's there, and it's awesome, and there's food. But there's also, it's kind of funny, like he's walking around, and there's a pop up for tacos. Like, do you want some tacos? 7 credits. He's like, no.
Where does the money? Do you just have to have had that much money before you die?
Right, or somebody
is
funding
it. Okay, because there's no
and
work.
And then I was thinking about this. I'm like, wait a minute. All the rich people are depending on poor people to keep the computers to go, like keep running.
Right.
And it, like, seems like this ends fucking terribly.
It wouldn't hold up.
Yeah,
it wouldn't hold up.
Sooner or later, you're gonna be like,
No, because without the computer, you're screwed. You're pretty much dead. Did you see that? There's that Netflix show. Well, you watched it, The Good Life.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the same thing. They accidentally send this one chick that shouldn't be there. It's pretty much heaven.
We watched some of that.
Well, it's
they sent her there. What?
They tricked her into thinking you
bitch.
didn't understand the show at all.
I only watched 4 episodes. It's stupid. I couldn't
watched
watch
a
it
couple.
anymore.
It was hard to get into, but
You
after
would stick
I
with
watched
that one.
I did.
You
and
would.
it turned out good.
Oh, all right.
I feel like
Maybe I'll keep
Good
watching.
story, Chris.
I feel like John and Chris could start, like you guys would come here, they could start a podcast at 8 a.m. You and I would have to tend to the children.
Oh,
and,
fuck yeah.
like, we'd have to, like, bring drinks and food to keep you two going. Like,
Is this
They would
like
just
a
go all day.
suggestion or a thought you have?
Because I
just-
could do this.
I'm-
I have time.
He has time now.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, you
like,
got to
it would
think.
be a-
We would do stuff like this on a 10-hour ride home on a Sunday.
Right.
Talk about
just
random
not
shit.
recorded.
When did we not
Those were the
talk?
best.
So
Remember
Do
when?
you remember?
Okay, you go first.
No, you go first.
Remember when we spent like 6 hours in the truck trying to think of one T-shirt idea?
Yes.
And it was like we went from highs to lows. It was like an emotional ride of like creativity.
Did you cry or anything?
I probably almost did, and we came up with some really good ones. Titty, like the boobs with the turbos.
My favorite one is Pam's with the pigtails.
That was real.
Which, by the
We-
way, I
That's
would
fun.
like that.
Yeah.
we,
Isabel and,
we were
Cole.
coming up with like off the wall shit.
My favorite trip ever, or trip moment ever, and we were coming back from Rudy's, and Donnie was in the front seat, and I think you and Chelsea were in the back, and we're just again talking about it was the hell trip when we blew tires and all that
When
stuff.
we stayed at
Took
Denny's.
pictures.
Yeah, the camper broke in half
Yep.
and all that shit. But we're driving back, and we're just again talking about the most ridiculous shit in the world. We're laughing, and then everybody gets quiet for a minute, and Donnie just starts laughing,
He farted.
and then he farted so fucking loud. He's like, we all go like,
He was so embarrassed.
we collect ourselves,
He did get embarrassed,
and we're all quiet, and then Donnie's like, I almost
couldn't hold
fucking
it back
wrecked.
anymore.
I was laughing so fucking hard. Oh, that's good
Well, and
times.
that was also when he was first like hanging out with around her and like some of the girls,
Like, we were
right?
just getting to know.
So you weren't on that level where you just rip a fart in front of somebody yet.
No, absolutely
Apparently
not.
he was.
So he didn't
You're in
want
front of fucking strangers trying to be polite.
hot bitches.
My favorite story I tell all the time is, do you remember the night we came back and they dropped us off at the Indianapolis Speedway and the electric wouldn't work in the camper?
Mhm.
And you and I were trying to fucking plug it in and we were so fucking drunk. Like,
Wasn't it something really simple like the?
I'm sure.
it was the outlet. So we were plugged into an outlet on the side of a hot dog stand.
Yep.
But the outlet must have been wore out. And if it sat there for a second, it would fall. And we'd walk up.
But like idiots, we were staying in a pair. When one of us should have stayed at the plug,
Right.
and the other one went to the other end, we could have. Instead, we hand in hand walked back. Why is it? We just plugged it in. Why isn't it working? Then we walk back together, plug it back in, walk back to the camper together. Right. It's not working again.
But we had spent a good half hour trying to back. So we were in vendor's row, and there's another trailer back to the front of our trailer. So we're trying to back the truck up so we can reach the plug to plug the. Because what had happened, for those that are listening, is we left to go
Nobody's
to dinner,
still
and we
listening.
went out drinking,
We're
and we
alone.
left lights on in the camper, but nothing was plugged in, so it drained the battery. So we get back, it is fucking dead.
generator wouldn't start on its own
Because the
or
batteries are
anything,
dead. So we try and back the truck in between.
to make the trailer plug reach.
Yeah.
That's
and
what it
we are
was.
fucking barely walking hammered.
Weren't we there? We were there first, and we set the camper up, and then somebody pulled in tight to the front.
Yeah,
And
the
then-
next vendor.
Yep. And then
And
you couldn't get
so
your plug.
then we drag this giant cord out, and it's like 30 feet away. We drag the cord over. We find it on the side of this hot dog stand, plug it in, and we're like, and we look back, and you see all the lights come on in the camper, and we're like, there. And we even did the slap your hands together, like, job well done. So we walk back to the camper, just get back to the camper, all the fucking lights go out. Fuck.
What do you need lights
So-
for?
We go back, and the cord slipped off. So we're like, oh, the cord just slipped out. Plug it in again. All the lights come on. We walk back
together.
This went on like 3 or 4 times. Till finally we're like, all right, somebody has to stay and hold the plug. And the other person walks back and will start the generator.
Right.
And we'll be okay.
And then once you get that running, you're good.
But this story, which took me 10 minutes to tell, was 4 hours.
Mm-hmm. What an awesome night. What an awesome time.
All right. Well, we should wrap this up. But I'm going to say, I've never been more jealous and proud of two people more than when you guys got that. I think it was these people. When you guys did that photo shoot. When you're like, one of you, you're standing over Chris, you guys look like fucking superheroes.
That was
awesome.
fun.
I'm like, I fucking know those people, and they look awesome.
Those are my friends.
Yeah.
Like
Totally.
we've done stuff like separate, but we never did like a photo shoot together like that, and that was a blast.
And you guys are both shredded. It was awesome.
It was a good
Very
time.
cool.
Now we just have to get back in shape. Can me and you do?
Why did you
like
just
that?
look at me like that?
I know. I was just
Did
going
you
to
see
ask.
that, Dale?
Yeah.
Hint, hint.
What's that about?
Hint, hint. Fat shaming again. Don't worry. No, my wife isn't fat. Look her up
So
on Instagram.
She's
I've got
definitely not fat.
I would totally.
I thought you were
bang her.
trying to fat shame me.
You. I want to feed you a cheeseburger.
I've got 2
As long as it'll go to
kettlebells.
my boobs, I'll take it.
I've got 2 kettlebells, a punching bag. I need a plan. I want to get swole.
Just swing the
Swole.
kettlebells and punch a bag. That's it. You got it.
Wait, I hit the punching bag with the kettlebells?
That actually would be hard, and you should do that.
All right.
On video.
We're going to check back in a month, see how this turned out.
V to the D.
All right.
No, was it chiseled V, right?
V to the P.
P.
Oh, P.
Because
P or D works. Does people know what that means?
I think
Should we
P would
explain
just.
that?
I think
You could
they
just
know.
say P for pelvis.
Pecker.
Penis!
We always play this sad music at the end.
I like that.
Pecker.
It's such a 2000s term for penis. Should we? I feel like our energy should be dropping.
Yeah, it is.
It's just
Oh,
bring it
sorry.
down.
It is.
I'm always inappropriate.
Pecker out.
You guys want to go get some meat after this?
Absolutely.
We're going to Mexico.
Oh, yeah. Wish.
Can we talk about Star Wars?
It's over. Funniest fucking nights ever.
When did we get to a point where we were like, you had to go talk to him?
We're
It was
so
you.
catty. What happened?
He thought pretty much that he was going to marry you.